Put off an idea? Oh, good. He's gonna tackle you going out the door.
You all set?
We don't have a number.
Okay.
Wait.
Okay. We all rise to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Call the meeting to order. This planning board meeting for Monday, April 22nd, 2019. We have a number of old business applications, or applications that have been here in front of us past months. Start with planning board application number 2018-21. It's for 424 Margaret Street. It's to request to demolish existing McDonald's restaurant and reconstruct a new McDonald's restaurant with a dual lane drive-through. Additional site improvements to include new parking, trash enclosure, utilities, lighting, and landscaping. Applicant is McDonald's USA LLC. Plan preparer is Polar Engineering.
Good evening.
Welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Good to see you. It's been a couple months since I've been here last. It's hard to believe. But I think based on the package I think you have in front of them, we have been busy in the last 2 months to addressing a lot of the board's comments, and I can maybe just touch on some of the bigger picture things that have changed since we last met. In terms of the site plan, we added, as was much discussed, a pedestrian crosswalk on Margaret Street, which would sit right in the front of the store, as requested by the board. We have also done some work on the building elevation, which was also the last comment by the board as well. This is the elevation facing Margaret Street. The front faces the north, back of the building, and to break up the mass of the building and the field that faces Margaret Street, we've added these vertical battens that kind of match the detailing found at the corners of the buildings. It's going to provide, they'll break up the, make the building a little more in segments. At the same time, we issued the dumpster corral. We showed a detail here, color detail, that shows we're going to surround the corral with siding, same composite siding, same reveal, same color that matches the, is found on the building. So with the corral next to the building, added with some landscaping, it's really gonna disappear into the field of the building. We have also provided a stormwater pollution prevention plan as requested by the board. The plans include a full design plan, which includes demolition, lighting, landscaping, grading and drainage, utility plans, and construction notes and detailing. And last, we presented to the ZBA last month to present the project at the board's request. You asked us to bring them up to speed on things, just so by the time we circle back to them for the special use permit, there's no surprises. They had no additional comments based on the package you have in front of them. This is exactly what we presented to them. And then with some ongoing discussions with the building inspector, we are now at a point of being variance-free for the project.
Variance free. That's
Variance-free.
good.
We do have comments from MLD.
Okay.
And I think that's the highlights. You got comments on things submitted, or you want to discuss what I just talked about?
Eva, did you want to run through your, I guess, initial review?
Just my comments?
Yeah, report to
Okay,
the board.
sure. So, obviously, Bowler Engineering has submitted a completed application. In addition to the pedestrian crosswalk plan, they provided their building elevations, preliminary site improvement plan, and stormwater pollution prevention plan. They have requested that we initiate any third-party review, but we need the planning board to provide us with specifics of what you want reviewed for the scope of work.
Okay. Well, maybe we start off with any comments that the board may have with the updated application. One question that came up at the pre-meeting was the handrail that you have. It shows on the, I think it's around the seating area.
Outside seating area.
The outside
Yes.
seating area. Is that just a painted steel handrail?
Talking around
Yeah.
here?
Yeah.
Correct.
No, it's a little more decorative than that. Typically it'd be more of a, I think about right now it'd be, some kind of black fencing. Yeah, it's gonna be more decorative than just some very simple handrail.
Okay. I guess if you can update your
Right,
detail on your
details showing
final.
that.
Add a
plan.
detail, yeah.
Detail that.
Yep. The trash enclosure, I know you've added a good amount of additional detail to it, and actually tried to tie it into the building. Was there any consideration on location at all? That, I know it's
Well, it's been
pretty well
discussed,
down
but
the road.
we
but-
thought once, how much we invested in it, I mean, dressing it up, so to speak, and with the landscaping and the, and how we're gonna blend it into the building, we thought it kind of worked aesthetically, wouldn't be a problem. And functionally, it's the preferred spot for safety and access for the staff, so we prefer to leave it right where we're showing it right now.
Any other?
Well, yeah, because that has stayed pretty static. That hasn't moved right. I mean, you dressed it up, it's gonna look better. One additional question on that, is it possible for you to flip it 180 degrees and point the openings towards the lake? Thus, the moving north or south on Margaret Street, you're not seeing the opening. I understand you have doors on it, that's an improvement, but is there any way you can flip that and still make it work for the removal of the garbage?
The problem with that then, it'd be, access, it would be cutting straight across the drive-through lane.
Mm-hmm.
It's certainly not a preferred approach to having
That's your,
truck access.
that's your preferred, yeah. To have it before you get to the drive-throughs, as you open them up, the split drive-through.
Any other?
I had mentioned earlier you had some of your signage looked a little too large for the law. You worked that out with Joe, the
We
building
did.
inspector, dropped them
We
down.
We have,
You're good. Okay, so it did get addressed?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
we shrunk the size of the freestanding and worked with them on the directional, so we're,
You're good. That's what I want to hear. Thank you.
And I believe we do have some city department comments.
Yes, Joe, building inspector, commented only that they have eliminated the need for any variances. MLD has commented, the existing transformer and primary cable belong to McDonald's. It is not clear if it is McDonald's plan to reuse this transformer and install a new primary cable, or have MLD install a transformer from its stock and run a new primary service. This needs to be coordinated with MLD as to the plans of the applicant in this matter. If MLD is installing the new service or transformer, then they'll need electric load calculations submitted to determine service size.
not a surprise, we've had those conversations with them about the transformer, and yes, our intent is to reuse the existing transformer. But that coordination is definitely ongoing with them, absolutely, yes.
Okay. Do we have any other?
Nope, that's it, I'm sorry, those are the only two comments. We do not have any comments from DPW this month due to unforeseen circumstances.
So they're still reviewing them?
Andrew was hit by a car.
Oh, okay, okay, well, if you can work through, I guess, the final review with DPW for, that would be,
Yeah, I don't think DPW had further comments on this application. I know they were working on CVPH, but I don't think this one has any further comments.
okay.
I think last we left it with them, they wanted to see our final utility plan when we get the water and sewer set, and these plans are approved, and yes.
Okay. So does the board have any other comments, questions? If not, I think the last item we have is, we do have a third-party review process with the
Stormwater.
planning board. The two items which we discussed in the pre-meeting were the stormwater pollution prevention plan, overall review, and then the review of driveway and all improvements within the public road right away, in accordance with DOT standards.
The entrance details, the
Yeah.
crosswalk.
Yep.
Yep.
I don't know if anybody else on the board has any other technical standards they'd like to be addressed by the third-party engineer. If not, we all in
That's the
agreement
ball.
that those are the
Yep.
main items
Yep.
we would
Mhm.
like to have looked at.
And how does that process work?
Ultimately, the applicant will work with the planning department to coordinate a third-party engineer to review the application in accordance with the local law that the city has for third-party review.
You have these these firms on retainer, so that it's kind of a quick process to get them on board and get them reviewing? How does that?
It's a rather new process
Okay.
for the city, I will say
Okay.
that. As far as how quick it occurs.
I assume they're gonna provide some estimate of their effort, which we would, and then provide escrow to cover that cost?
Absolutely.
You have it exactly
That's
right,
it's on my
which
first
is why we
rodeo.
needed the scope.
That's really where timing is lacked, depending on how long that process takes to.
For them to give a scope and us to get you an escrow and then to
Correct.
get them going,
Correct.
okay?
So
We'll
I'm
get you the
sure-
escrow pretty quick once you tell us how much it is, so.
What, I was gonna say, I'm sure we will move things along as quickly as possible, and as quick as you want to move as well. Any other? If not-
Silly question, remind me, where are we in this process? Have we opened and closed a public hearing on this yet? No, so that still is ahead of us. Still long form seeker finishing that off? Still ahead of us?
too.
Okay, just making sure somewhere you hit the gavel and
Yep.
tell people the meeting's open.
I would say ultimately, once the third-party review is in place, then
Then we'll
that would
have
give.
every piece available.
that would
Okay,
give us everything.
Okay.
Once again, I think the board has given our last comments, questions at the moment.
Substantive, yeah.
Yeah, if it's down to technical review comments, that'd be great. I mean, yes, if we're kind of set on the big picture layout and circulation and building design and those kind of things, I think, yeah, that'd be great. So we can work with you to get through that process as quick as possible. We'll be back to you as soon as possible, I guess.
Mhm.
Okay, if there's no further comments, then
I
thank
think
you,
we-
and we'll,
we don't need a motion.
no,
You're
we'll
good.
see
I
you.
think
You've got notes, okay?
So you'll reach out to your engineer as soon as quickly
This
as
week.
possible this week?
Yes.
Yeah, just tell us how much the escrow is and we'll get you going.
Thank you very much.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay.
See you in a month.
Positive thinking.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to planning board application 2019-02. This is 75 Beacon Street. Project description is to construct a 5,900 square foot addition to the existing hospital for new musculoskeletal center. The project also includes 17,650 square feet of additional parking. Applicant is CDPH. The plan preparer is Thomas Palumbo from Stantec Consulting Services.
Jim, can
Yes.
I recommend that I read my comments before the applicant
Sure.
starts presenting, just so we don't have duplication?
Sure.
So for this one, 75 Beekman, we have a full EAF, part one completed. You have my draft of part two attached as well. The zoning board has approved an area variance for reduced open space at their March 18, 2019 meeting. The green space in the plan is in compliance with current code. And the hospital was granted a blanket special use permit inclusive of future modifications. And even if this were not the case, hospitals are a permitted use in R2, which is the zone CVPH campus is in, so they're completely covered with that.
Yep.
So did everybody get a copy of the part one? Yes? Yeah,
No.
no, okay. I was gonna say, I didn't, the part one,
Do you- was it the
Oh, I
last
gave
one?
all the copies away last time.
okay.
Is that what you were last time?
No, for this one's because the question came down to seeker, it was a long form seeker.
I believe they addressed that in their comments. They were providing us short form secret, correct?
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the comments you had, and because it was an unlisted action, short form was applicable, so we did respond. Again, just, good evening, everyone. My name is Tom Renane, here representing CVPH. With me tonight is Chris Booth, Director of Operations, CVPH, Travis Clinton from Stantec, who can also address some of the other comments that you may have regarding some of the issues that were raised at the last time we were here last month. We've submitted additional information after our meeting last month to respond to some of the comments from the planning department. I think we addressed most of those comments. There may be additional questions that we can certainly answer if the board has them. We did attend the Clinton County Planning Board meeting this past beginning of April. They again found they approved the project, local issues with no comments. So we're prepared to proceed this evening and answer any further questions the board may have.
Okay. So I guess, just to clarify, we're looking at a short form EAF
Correct.
tonight.
We're looking at a short form that we don't have?
Well,
It was in last month's packet.
We did submit one.
Can we get copies again for tonight?
I've given Jim my only copy. That might be
Can
able
you,
to-
give it to me, I can go upstairs and make copies.
I think I can pull it up from last month.
that might be best. And then here's a copy of the original. So we're doing the short form on the response letter, the Stantec response letter.
Yes, sir.
It says in here, under item number 4, we're talking about a stormwater pollution prevention plan for the campus. It says, part of the statement says, coverage under the New York State DEC Speedies general permit is required for the proposed action?
Is not required.
Yes,
not.
he figured that out, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, is not required.
That's what we
Yeah.
thought, but it's not.
Okay,
Okay.
And we do have a parking calculation. I know there was some questions about parking spaces, and I think Travis has some information regarding that as well.
Yeah, based on the square footage calculation, there's 1,387 spaces required, and with the improvements, we're up to 1,570 spaces. So we've got
Okay.
200 spaces.
Okay. Is that something that you can, I guess, address in your final plan, sort of a summary of parking?
Sure, absolutely.
That'd be great. You've been to the zoning board, you've been to the county planning board.
We have.
I guess both of those would be on record with the planning department.
Yes, the county approved it without comment.
Yeah, she had it up there, the county.
no
And
comments.
I think we submitted as part of our package information from Mr. McMahon
Mm-hmm.
at the planning or the codes department. He basically commented and
Yep.
answered all K-Sweet, somebody gave me K-Sweet.
Yes,
Building inspector commented.
that would be
that the
summarizing
variances
him,
were
so yeah.
Correct, correct.
I think the one last item that was briefly discussed in the pre-meeting was the response in regards to the employee break area, which
Correct.
is moving, which,
Yeah, we're moving it further onto our property. It's noted on the plan as well where it's located. And that's, our intention is that's where it's going to be located. We don't have any plans on expanding it, moving it, and everything else. That's the plan right now.
you're just moving it onto your site. And that's, the board have any other comments, questions? If not, Shalice has found the short form seeker, which is on the screen in front of us. And then anybody
Yeah.
wants to see a hard copy, I have a hard copy
I have the
here.
hard copy, we both got it.
You see anything in there?
No,
No, it's pretty cut and dry.
yeah.
Please let me know when you want me to scroll.
Marissa, did you want
I,
to guide through that?
there's no corrections that I can find. I'm just, are we at the public hearing stage yet or not? Are we in a public hearing? Just again, let's,
No, it's pre-meeting.
It's pre.
Yeah.
okay.
Does the board have any other comments, questions for the
No.
applicant?
No.
Okay. If not, I guess we do have a public hearing
So,
for this, so we can open
Tap,
it
tap,
up to the,
open.
to the floor for the public hearing. Does anybody in the public have comment or want to discuss the application? If not, we'll close the public hearing
There, you
and
did it.
move on to the seeker review for the project. Once again, we have a short form seeker, not a long form. Anybody on the board have any questions or comments in regards to the seeker form submitted and information contained?
I'd like to make a motion regarding the short form seeker. Did you close the public hearing?
Yes, it
Yes.
is.
Okay. It's formalities. Regarding Appeal 2019-02-75 Beekman Street, the short form seeker, the board finds that there is no adverse environmental impact
Impacts.
to be found.
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are we about to start the next one?
Okay. We have the site plan as submitted with the applicant's responses to our last month's meeting. There's no further comment or question. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a
It's
second?
from last month. There he is.
Second, from Rick. Any other further comment? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bada bing.
Great.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's cut and dry. I wish we had more of that. Sad in this day. Cut and dry.
They won't be like
I
that.
love those.
University of Vermont,
What are you doing?
Champlain Valley.
Moving shit.
Okay.
All the signage.
Moving on to planning board application number 2019-03. This is 90 to 92 Miller Street. Project description is to request to construct an additional 2 single-family townhouse-style units to an existing under-construction fourplex. The applicant is Musso Development. The plan preparer is AES Northeast.
Evening, ladies and gentlemen, Scott Allen, AES Northeast, with Mr. Ken Musso, Musso Development, here with us tonight. We were here last month and received a number of items to come back to you with this month with answers to the submitted responses in a letter dated April 5th with numbers 1 through 9, which I believe matches the numbers of the review letter that we received after the meeting. What's your pleasure, Mr. Chairman? Should I go through these one by one, or?
I think that is probably the best thing, is to go
Okay.
right down.
We'll go right down the list. I'll stop at each one and see if we can, see if there's any questions that we need to answer. The first item was documentation of the easement. That pertains to the 10-foot easement that we would acquire from the property to the south for snow storage. I gave you the draft easement agreement. That will be executed and filed in the county clerk's office following subsequent approval. Anyone have any questions on that?
Eva,
I do
you-
address that.
I was gonna say, maybe you can
Setbacks, you want,
just outline your comment in regards to that item.
Okay, so the proposed 10-foot easement for snow storage, per the city's attorney, since the easement itself is between two private parties, there is no need for common council approval because the city is not burdened by it or benefited by the easement. So it is the planning board's determination to make. And should you approve the easement, all that is required is to include language in the approval with conditions letter, assuming no other issues, that the draft easement must be executed and recorded, and a recorded copy provided to the planning board for their records. The easement itself requires a 10-foot wide path with wooden fence for extra snow storage space and seems to be fairly straightforward.
Okay. Any other comments, questions from the planning board on that item?
Okay, next item, number 2. You asked for consultation with the building inspector regarding whether an area variance is needed for the southerly side of the parking lot setback from the side lot line. We refer to section 270-25G regarding the location of driveways. The zoning ordinance says they shall be located 3 feet from any property line except when a common driveway is provided. So the above language refers to driveways. It wasn't immediately clear to us whether that language applies to the edge of a parking lot. But regardless, we believe that issue is irrelevant now because we have moved the south edge of the parking lot to a line 3 feet north of the property line. And that's 3 feet from the property line. So the 3 feet coupled with the 10-foot easement, we're going to be 13 feet away from the south side of the snow storage easement. Okay? All right. And next item is number 3. There's no comments on 2.
Any comments?
Huh?
Okay.
The question was to consult with the building inspector, and you gave us an opinion. Did you consult with the building inspector?
Nope. We moved the parking lot.
Okay.
So, but you'll have to get that question answered at another time, I guess.
Okay.
But in
I
any
think
event,
you
we
just
moved the
did.
parking lot.
Okay.
No, was your answer.
What's that?
I said you just answered the question. No was your answer. You
Well,
didn't
our answer
consult.
was that we didn't care to go
Yeah.
before the zoning board of appeals at this time of the construction season to get an answer
No.
to that question from the zoning board.
Just move it.
So we moved the
Yep.
fence.
Yeah.
Okay?
No, it was in reference to a dialogue with a city official, not anything more, nothing less.
No, I didn't have any conversation with Joe about that
Okay.
issue. Okay, if we're all set on that, we'll go to number 3. You asked for consultation with the building inspector regarding whether an area variance is needed for parking aisle width. And again, we refer to the zoning law, section 270-25C. With regard to that issue, because on our site, the parking lot travel aisle starts out at 30 feet wide, and it narrows up to 21 feet. So this layout allows us to comply with the open space requirements. If I go any wider, then I gotta make a trip to the zoning board on the open space. So we have, however, widened the nominal parking lot travel aisle from 20 feet, which was showed on last month's plan, to 21 feet. And we're still just within the minimum open space coverage. So when you look at zoning law, section 270-25C, it states that perpendicular parking, 26-foot aisle width for one directional and two directional flow. However, paragraph B says the above standards may be modified by the planning board as part of the site plan review process under the provisions of 270-36, which is site plan review. So we'd like you to note that our parking lot, travel aisle, serves only one row of parking spaces. And when we back out of one of these parking spaces, the rear of the vehicle can extend beyond the edge of the pavement, that 21 feet of pavement that we have behind the actual 9 by 18 foot parking stall. We have 21 feet, and then we have no obstructions at the edge of pavement, so there's a few extra feet that's available for a maneuvering area. And then we looked around town to find precedents for parking aisles narrower than the 26 feet that's stated in the zoning ordinance. And we found quite a few examples throughout the city, including Seth Square, Edgewater Estates, Harbor View condominiums, Latinville Apartments, and Fort Brown Drive, and even the easterlymost aisles in the Durkee Street parking lot, where they're even less than 20 feet in that example. So we asked the planning board for relief on the 26-foot aisle, and ask you to consider 21 feet as adequate for this parking lot.
Yeah.
So, Shalice and I met with the building inspector
It is
to
26.
discuss
It
the
says
extent
25 on
of the
this
planning board's ability to waive the width requirement, and ultimately posed this question to Dean, the city's attorney. The short answer is that the planning board has the discretion to waive this requirement below the 25 inches specified in the zoning code.
You mean the 25
25 feet, sorry.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Freaking
sorry.
me out.
Isn't it
See?
26 feet?
Yeah, a little bit.
Well,
It's
it-
26 in one section, but in the planning board section, or site plan review section, it's actually 25 feet.
Yeah, there's a discrepancy in the code, and, which is why we ultimately went to the attorney.
Yeah.
And because of the way that paragraph is written, the planning board does have the discretion to waive this requirement below the smaller of the two amounts, which is 25 feet.
So we have your answer, which includes examples, Seth Square, Edgewater, Harbor View, and Latinville Apartments,
Less than
but no
26.
numbers. Do we know the numbers? Did you go measure Seth Square, Edgewater? You're saying it's less, so you must have measured it.
I'm getting anywhere from a low of, actually, on Durkee Street.
You said less than 20
That's-
there.
Yeah, that's about 16 feet on Durkee Street.
16 feet on Turkey?
People getting in and out of there all the time.
Mhm.
Seth Square, Edgewater Estates, Harbor View, and Fort Brown, we measured those and we got anywhere between, I think, 18 feet and I think there 24 feet was the largest one we found. I think we were 18, 20, I know one was 24, and there was one less than that. So say 18, 20, 22, we were in that range in the other parking lots. And some of those even had two, they had parking stalls on both sides of the travel lane. So I think what makes the difference in our situation is we've only got one row of travel
One row,
spaces.
yeah. I think it'll work, yeah. Just want to make sure you can back up a car and get it the hell out of there.
And there are a number of spaces that have absolutely no impact by the deficient turnaround area. So is it within the authority of the planning board to, say, request a couple parking spaces be dedicated to compact cars? Or I think that's in the.
That's absolutely in the
Yeah,
code.
so, as a compromise, we could ask for that. Does that make sense, Scott?
Yeah, and you wouldn't have any problem with it. I think it would. Say the easterly 3 or 4 spaces next to that handicap space for compact vehicles.
I think it's a good compromise.
Scott, do you have any objection to just putting like a turning movement template on the final plan? A turning movement template, you know, like a car turning movement template on the final plan?
Sure. Yeah, we can do that.
I would rather see something like that in general to show that movement on the site will generally be accomplished versus trying to compare to other sites and try to compare other sites' information and compliance or non-compliance. That's my personal opinion for this and future applications. In order to once again be asked to make a judgment of a variation from our standard.
Am I okay with everyone?
Any other comments, questions on that? Okay.
Okay, moving on to number 4. We'll ask for consultation with the building inspector whether an area variance is needed for absence of parking lot screening. Again, this issue is no longer relevant. We've shown on the plan the provision for a 6-foot-high wood screening fence along the south side of the 10-foot easement. Yeah, it's shown on this plan. Anybody see it? Am I standing in?
Wood screen fence, number 3? Yes?
Yeah, that,
3 now?
there's a list of notes over the right-hand side.
Yeah.
3 refers to that fence.
Got it.
And then on the detail sheets is a detail of the wood fence. Same one we used on 102 Miller Street. Okay?
So the fence is on the other property exercising the easement, right?
Yes, in the easement,
And so the fence would have to be part of our conditions, that it has to stay in place forever because it's part of the screening.
yep, it's perpetual, it's a permanent easement. It's a perpetual easement.
It's a permanent fence too, even though whoever buys the lot next door at some point in the future may not want it there. It becomes a permanent screening fence. Otherwise, we have no snow storage if we move it any closer to your parking spaces.
Right.
And Scott, you intend to stain the fence?
Yes, same as we did on 102 Miller. I believe is that detail? I
Yeah.
believe calls for this screen.
There's a note there that says wood fence to be stained.
Right.
Just want to confirm that you are proposing that.
Yeah, Marissa, in response to your comment, the easement agreement does contain language for the purpose of snow storage as well as repairing and maintaining said screening fence, but for no other purpose. And clauses 1 and 2 it refers to the screening fence and the permanent easement.
So one question along those, there's a requirement in 27025L that on premises containing 5 or more parking spaces, all such spaces within 15 feet of the boundaries of the premises shall be equipped with barriers not less substantial than a 4-inch square horizontal timber anchored and located so as to confine vehicles entirely within said premises, except in those cases where a wall is provided on the boundaries of the premises, which in the opinion of the building inspector, is of such construction as to suitably protect the adjoining property and or right of way. So will that fence meet the requirement for parking barriers?
I believe it would. Yeah. I mean, otherwise, we're talking about, these rubberized, they used to be, concrete bumpers. Today, they use rubber a lot, but I think if we put those along the edge of those parking stalls, we're just gonna create an impediment for the snow plow to push the snow into the 10-foot buffer.
Mhm.
So, I would think that the fence would satisfy that section of the ordinance.
Yeah, as long as it's not less substantial than a 4-inch square horizontal timber anchored and located, so, or anchored. So if you're gonna have that anchored, it should fulfill that requirement.
Yep. Yeah, you can see the detail, I think, on that detail sheet over, I think it's 6x6 posts driven to hold up the sections of the wood fence, so it's a substantial structure.
At 270-25L, is that underneath that's underneath the planning board's?
No, it's zoning.
No, it's zoning, but it says that, it is a requirement.
The planning board does not have the ability to waive that.
Exactly.
Okay.
But the applicant has addressed it, so it's not an issue.
Okay.
Okay, any further questions on number 4? If not, we go on to the calculation for the number of parking spaces. These calculations were previously provided in the zoning table on sheet C101, the plans that we submitted last month. So going back again to section 270-25, for townhouses, which this particular style of apartments meets the definition for. These ordinance requires 1 space per dwelling unit plus 1 additional space for each adult member of a family over 2. So this project consists of 6 townhouse units. And our parking lot provides 11 parking spaces, including the handicap space. My client owns a number of rental units throughout the city, and the vast majority of his 2-bedroom tenants are single-car owners. In any event, my client will restrict his rentals to only allowing 2 of the units to have 2 vehicles. The other 4 units will be restricted to 1 vehicle each. So in the worst-case scenario, there would be 8 parking spaces used by the tenants, which would still allow for 2 visitor parking spaces plus 1 handicap space. And also, please note that my client owns the adjacent parcel on the south side of the project site. And if there were ever to become a need for additional parking, my client would have the ability to construct additional parking on a parcel to the south. But before we do that, we're going to restrict the leases to, as I said before, only 2 of the units will be allowed to have 2 vehicles. The other 4 units will be restricted to 1 each. So we think that we'll have adequate parking. Okay.
Any other questions, comments on that item?
I'm glad that you recognized the ability of the applicant to provide parking on the adjacent site, which is totally allowed within the zoning ordinance. But he would have to deed those spaces.
Yeah.
So,
I think
but
it's
it's
premature
on
to
the
do that
table.
right now, unless their market demand is such that everybody's gonna want 2 vehicles, which.
But it's
the trends we're
recognized
seeing
and
right
it's
now.
legitimate, and
Yeah.
it's a good solution if this doesn't work.
Yeah, the trends we see now, there's just not a
Yeah.
demand for 2 cars and these type of units. Okay.
Okay.
The next item, number 6, was floor plans and elevations. We included that with the submission. Anybody have any questions on those?
Any comments, questions on floor plans, elevations?
Pretty straightforward.
Okay.
And you can see what's out there now. We're just gonna continue that same, the same theme with these 2 units. They'll match the existing units that are there.
Okay. Item 7.
Item 7, screening on the north side of the refuse area. So our revised plans call for extending the fence all the way around 3 sides of the refuse area. We had it on 2 sides before, the south side and the east side, and we've added screening on the north side. Okay? And, yeah,
Zoning code requires that trash cans be screened so as to be hidden from the street. So The one side that you need to have visual screening is the one side that does not have visual screening.
The one facing Miller Street?
Yeah.
Yeah? It's like having a gate, right?
Well, we can extend, the screening of that, but I think that what we'll do is
Can't
we'll
put a
leave
gate on it.
probably, a good 36-inch wide opening on the west side of the refuse area to get the carts in and out.
Yeah.
And then extend the screening south to the, what would be the southwest corner of this refuse area. If that's okay with everyone?
So you'll avoid a gate, basically. You just create an opening that's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A box
Yeah,
that's,
'cause these are-
that's minus a doorway.
These are the
Yeah.
carts that are wheeled in and out.
Yeah,
Yeah, and just keep the carts
reasonable,
to the south.
tucked in.
And
Yeah. Got it.
Okay with
If,
everyone?
if the applicant decides and they decide to put a gate construction, we'll leave that open as well.
Well-
Gate or,
Let's go to the next one before we.
okay, okay.
The next one, let's see, is similar to this issue in that same area. You asked me to confirm with the building inspector whether the sharing of the handicap parking access aisle, the refuse area access is within code. So we sent a copy of this letter to the building inspector, and did you all see his response? I didn't have a chance to send it to you, but basically what Joe said is, just make sure your gate doesn't swing out into the
Whack it,
handicap
yeah,
off-road.
whack it, yeah, right.
Yeah, so we'll try to avoid a gate here if we can.
Okay.
Put something on sliders, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then finally, you asked us to explore expanding or widening of the existing curb cut. Our plans previously called for 9 feet opening, and we've widened that out to 12 feet. You can see in this plan for the driveway entrance.
Yeah, it's a short distance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then we widen right out there.
that does.
Again, I
That'll do.
yeah, I don't really like the way, I don't like the concept of having a big two
No.
traffics in and out. I'd rather see it kind of one
No,
lane.
if it
and
was
people slow
longer, then
down.
you'd have in and out, you know?
Yeah.
They'd be battling,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay. I believe that's all the items from last meeting. Anything else?
Do we have any other comments?
That covers all my comments.
Any other questions, comments from the board? If not, I guess the one item I see they had in terms of adding the plan was the turning movement for a car.
I can put that on the final plan,
Which will confirm.
On the final plan.
as long as you authorize the chairman to approve that, without making me come back next month. Do that? Huh?
I think that's in addition to the plan, to give you further evidence on the
Yeah.
final plan.
Yeah.
I think I'd still like to see that at least 2 compact parking spaces.
Okay.
So I'll write that.
Closer to the handicap space.
I'll write those conditions on the plan and show the turning movements as well on the final plan, if that's okay.
Scott, the handicap space, 8 foot wide,
9. Oh, no, in this case it is 8.
the 2 of them are 8 feet wide.
Yeah, that's the code requires 8. We usually
Okay.
make them 9, usually on a commercial site plan, just so the contractor doesn't get confused. Just makes them all 9. But, yeah, because space was at a premium on this site, we went down to the code requirement of 8 feet for the parking space and 8 feet for the, actually the offloading area. I think it can be 5 feet.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure on handicap, but that.
Yeah,
okay.
so we want 8 and 8. So.
Your refuse pad, is that proposed, is that a concrete pad?
I think with just the rollers on it, we're still with asphalt. If we were gonna drop a, a metal dumpster there, we put it on a concrete pad.
Concrete.
Since these are just rollers, we just pay that.
Okay. Maybe you just change the hatching where you clarify that that's an asphalt pad. I know
Should, yeah.
that's a question that had come up in the building inspector's office on other sites, changing.
Yeah, which is which.
So, that's gonna be asphalt. I don't think the board in this case has any concern with it being
No.
In
asphalt.
that case, no.
Okay. Any other comments, questions from the board? If not, we do have a public hearing for this application, which I will open the floor now for public hearing, public comment. Anybody has any comment on the application? If not, I'll close the public hearing and move on to, we have a short form seeker for the, submitted for the project. Does the board have any comments or questions in regards to the information presented in short form?
No.
If not, I have a motion in regards to the seeker application. I have a motion?
Motion, lady?
Not me?
I am. Make a motion that we have no, we make a motion for a negative declaration, given that there's no environmental issues or hazards or anything like that on this site. Is it reasonable?
Okay.
If nobody else wants to talk?
Do I have a second?
Hello?
Second from Rick.
Work here.
No further comments? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Okay, no abstentions? Okay.
Anything else?
We do have the application,
Site plan?
site plan review application with new supporting information responding to our last month's meeting. Do I have a motion in regards to the application presented?
Motion to move forward with the corrections? With what, Rick? Yeah.
So is that, John, are you making a motion?
Well, I was working on it, looking at Rick. Rick, you
Need
have
to
a
write
part
some
in there.
words
Yeah.
down.
Okay.
Rick had requested that,
Requested two
two of the
parkings.
locations for parking be compact cars.
Yeah.
And that we requested that, the, site plan be, shown, be revised to show a turning radius for the cars backing out, moving in, so. I don't think we had anything else, did we?
Yes.
It's included in the motion to have the easement filed and recorded.
There it is. Very good. That's
Hold on,
what
there's
started
more
the
to it
meeting.
than that.
Okay, well then go ahead.
I'm writing it down. Okay. Make a motion to approve appeal, what number is it?
Is 2019-03.
2019-03 for 9092 Miller Street.
Right.
Providing the following conditions, that the plans are amended, that two of the spaces closest to the dumpster become compact labeled spaces, recognizing that we are going to allow a 21-foot aisle aisle width.
Can I just correct that?
Yep.
Because it's two spots adjacent to the handicap
Handicap.
spot,
Right.
because the handicap is
Next to the,
dumpster.
okay,
Right.
as amended on the compacts, recognizing a 21-foot aisle to be allowed, less than what the zoning requires, that the easement as provided is filed and recorded as part of the property records. That a copy of the filing be provided to the building inspector's office or the planning office? Planning office. That the turning movement is provided and approved by the chair before any of this happens. Documented turning movement. That the fence that you've proposed is placed on the lot next door within the easement as shown, and that the fence satisfies both the barrier requirement and the screening requirement under the zoning law, and that it must stay. The fence cannot be removed.
Okay.
I got them all.
Does that eliminate the opportunity to potentially request a zoning relief from the zoning board relative to the fence on the south side?
I have no idea. I think you have all the opportunities you want to ask for any relief you want.
If that opportunity, I just want to.
I don't think we can tell you you can't ask for relief, but if this is a condition of the approval of this site plan, I don't think they can then undo
That's fine.
what we've just approved.
Okay.
I think that probably would go back to, that probably have to go back to the city council to discuss
Yeah.
if you wanted relief from our approval by another board.
That's fine. I just wanted
Yeah.
to clarify that it wasn't taking the opportunity to wait to do so.
Right.
Yeah.
If I.
Yeah, I don't believe so, but once again, I don't know that we have the 100% sure answer on that.
Thanks for trying.
Yeah. So at this point, we have a motion, which I
Motion.
think outlines
With those
everything we generally
conditions.
Those are
discussed.
the conditions, yes?
Do I have a
pretty
second
simple.
from the board? Second from Rick. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Abstain.
Abstain.
and one abstention.
Was the motion from John then instead of yours?
Right.
Yeah.
Motion was from
She
me.
clarified. You-
Yeah. Oh, I'm clarifying your
You're
motion?
clarifying.
Okay.
Yes. You had the other two administrative items in there.
Okay.
Nice job,
John's
chief.
motion. yes.
Okay, so
Well, you
John's
guys weren't,
motion,
yeah,
Rick second.
peanut
Four
gallery
ayes
wasn't
and
there.
Morrison.
I'll fall asleep.
Yes,
They were.
okay,
Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
thank you.
That's a good thing. Good God.
Moving on to planning board, item number 2019-04, at Kansas Avenue at Kentucky Street. Project description requested to subdivide existing 1.27 acre lot into 4 separate lots, creating 3 new lots of sizes .225 acres, .116 acres, and .173 acres, and retaining a .756 acres of the original parcel. The applicant is KLM Development. Plan preparer, again, is a yes northeast.
Mr. Chairman, if I may refer to I-4, they did an outstanding job at last month's meeting. We'll turn it back up, and I'll get time getting it back up here. I don't think you will, though. I think,
Welcome.
Thank you. I don't believe too much has changed since the last meeting. I think I introduced it last time. So, I guess if there's any other questions or concerns?
So in this regard, you're looking for final subdivision approval.
Correct.
You have come back and presented a plan with showing the existing improvements along with proposed improvements for the subdivision, as the board asked last month. Did we receive any formal comments from any of the departments?
No, DPW wants to provide a comment on this. They were unable to do so due to very unforeseen, unfortunate circumstances.
Okay, I don't know if you had any.
Interesting and
You
unfortunate
got hit by a car,
circumstances.
right?
Have you
Unforeseen.
had any coordination with DPW?
I did, I met with him prior to the previous meeting,
Yeah,
and.
That's interesting.
Went over the utilities, water and sewer,
Hmm.
and I met with Mike Brissett and Andrew, and they were both on board with what I had presented. No objections were given. Andrew was at the last meeting, and I think he voiced that at the last meeting.
He does have comments he wants to provide for this month. He was unable to do so in this meeting.
Okay.
okay.
Nothing has changed since the last time, correct? And that's still the
No,
same.
nothing has changed.
That's what I thought, okay.
The only thing we added to the plan was to show the sidewalk going
Okay,
along.
yes, okay.
If you'd ask for that, to show the improvements on lot one, you'd ask for that.
And that's pretty much my only comment, was that.
Yeah.
They added different and proposed sidewalks.
Okay.
in the design.
I guess at this point, if you were granted approval here tonight with the condition that you coordinate with DPW and, work through whatever requests they may have.
Okay.
Moving forward, is that something you would be okay with?
It sounds reasonable, but on the other hand, I don't want to open myself up to a comment that I don't know anything about. So, and like I said, in prior, I can't obviously speak for those guys, but in prior meetings, they didn't voice any concerns with me,
I
so.
believe it was in support of. I think it was just
Okay.
some clarification of details on the plan.
Okay. I think at this point, it'd be good to have that coordination, or make sure that the applicant coordinates with DPW. I mean, you're given something that you don't agree with, I guess you can always come back to the board.
Always come back.
Regardless, but
Okay,
Makes sense.
it allows us to move forward and
yep,
know that you're coordinating.
absolutely.
Okay. Any other further comment, questions for the applicant?
No. Project looks
If not, we do have a public hearing associated with this application, which I will open the public hearing to the floor for any individual that may have a comment.
Nobody cares.
Everyone's doing a good job.
If not, we'll close the public hearing now.
Okay.
And we have a short form seeker.
Excuse me, I did have one question previously, and that dealt with the plume. Did you rectify that within the deed, that it has been remediated?
We've gone through exhaustive research in terms of even before I purchased the property, obtaining sign-offs from the federal government that the remediation has been complete
Okay.
in that area.
Yeah, go ahead. Well, also, maybe to answer your question, right to the point, we added additional note number 4. And this one, I forgot about that. But I knew somebody was going to bring that up here. Because we had the same question when we did site plan review for lot 1 for the 8-plex. So I don't know if you can all read that.
You got the vapor barrier concept. I like that.
This big one.
That's a good insurance policy. Yeah,
That kind of puts everybody on notice.
that'll work.
My question was that within the deed, has the deed been cleared, Kai, of any
Yeah.
future
Yeah.
impact? Okay,
Yeah, I
that was my
believe
concern.
The, I don't want to say the settlement, but the settlement was that no basements would be allowed, any future development in that area.
Yep.
And then a vapor barrier would have
Yep.
to be used, which we complied with during the construction of the building we're working on now.
Yeah,
I
there's
just want to make
restrictions.
sure your investment's protected.
Absolutely.
There's restrictions in the deed into you that came from Park. so
Perfect.
The restrictions are carrying through in the title, so that's good.
Okay.
Mm.
And they're further noted on your subdivision plan for any future.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, that's
No?
perfect.
Okay, if not, we do have a short form seeker submitted. Any comments or questions in regards to the seeker form? If not, can I have a motion?
Can I make a motion? Motion to approve the seeker, no environmental impacts? Okay?
Okay. Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second.
That's nice.
Second from Ray.
What a guy.
If there's no further comments, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. With the seeker approved, we have a submission for final subdivision approval. Do I have a motion in that regard?
Make a motion to approve said subdivision plan with the latest revisions on it, including the additional notes as well. Like that.
Subject to the, working with the Public Works.
Oh, very
Got
good.
that
You
right?
are
'Cause
sharp,
We don't have
yes.
that letter yet.
Yes, from Mr. Dernan, correct? Yes. Yeah, subject to future short-term work and correspondence with Public Works. Okay, until such time he can be reached. Yes.
So that'll just be,
Accident, right? Oh,
will
man.
that be a correspondence and a sign off from you, or would that be
He was all
from
right.
the planning board office, or how would I go about getting?
I would say that's a coordination with Public Works. And
I mean, once I
Strictly, yeah.
kind of coordinate with them, is there a final sign off from,
and
they're
they,
gonna
Yeah.
talk to the planning office and then?
and then they would be
Yeah,
authorized to
check
sign
a
the
box, be
plans.
done with that, you know?
Is this condition?
But we know
it,
it's more or less a formality because we had Andrew talking about, he had no problems with it before. Yes.
Sure, okay.
As I understand from you, right? He
Ask
had
him.
no other issues or there was no problem?
No, he was here last
Yeah,
time.
there we go.
So,
Yeah,
think
so
it
it's a
was-
formality, what?
So I had a motion.
Yeah,
John, do I have a second?
with a condition by Marissa.
Second from Ray.
Thank you.
All in
I think we're
favor?
good with those.
Aye.
Aye. This is why I
Thanks
have a
very
lot
much.
of ladies are with me at work to remind me, come on, so don't forget that. Oh, yeah.
The ladies at work.
I do, well, we have 72 employees,
Yeah.
68 of them are ladies.
Wow,
Health department.
wow,
Nurses, yeah. I only got 5 guys, 4 guys.
wow.
Yeah, you didn't know that, huh?
I didn't know
See,
that.
now you do. Can be rough on some days.
Okay, 18 McLeod.
I'm cool with that.
Okay. We have new business, first time applications here at the planning board. Planning board application number 2019-05, 18 Macomb Street. This is a request to replace existing roof with new synthetic shingles. Applicant is Shirley Thorpe, plan preparer is Shirley Thorpe.
Hello,
Thank you.
my name is Shirley Thorpe, this is my daughter Linda,
Nice to meet you.
my partner in crime. We need to put a roof on 18 Macomb Street. The roof down there is like 20 years old, so it's, with the North Country, it needs help. And Gates Roofing is going to put it on as soon as we'll build some scaffolds, as soon as they can get some dirt that's gonna dry out instead of sinking it down into the hereafter.
What style of roof is existing on the,
Just shingle.
You mean the pitch?
is it just a straight, a normal asphalt shingle on them
Yes, it's a
today?
3-story Victorian,
But it's an asphalt,
and this is what he's
Yeah.
putting on.
the same color's going on.
You're going with the same color?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
no,
it's
one-
Like for like, okay.
Yes.
Match.
Yeah, because we're not
Love
doing
it.
the whole thing.
Like for like?
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
you're making it look like it is now.
I've never
Yeah,
heard of it.
yeah.
Yeah, just a better shingle, I think.
It makes it a lot easier when you go in that direction,
That's it.
you know?
Well,
It
we're
just
doing
goes
one
well.
side, not doing both sides. We're not doing the full roof right now,
Right.
because it's huge.
It is, yeah.
All
Ah.
those Victorians over on
Yeah.
Macomb Street are like,
Yeah.
They love
Wow.
tender love.
So at this
Yeah.
point, you're looking at basically replacing the
Partial.
existing shingle with as
Exactly.
close a match or
Yep.
The exact same
It'll
style
either
of
be this
shingle?
I think it's close to this color now.
It's there
and
now.
Yeah, or this, but same thing, no difference in color. Just a
Also-
better shingle, what do you call those,
Higher warranty shingle, like a 30-year or?
Yeah, but they call them something there,
Architectural.
yeah.
Yeah, they
thank you.
look nice, yeah.
Yeah, because that's not what's there now.
These are just straight.
Yes.
With
and
no-
so- Yes, and so he wants to put that on, which when we do the other side or whatever, it will all be same
Matched,
thing,
matching.
matched.
If you're doing this one this year, when are you doing the next one?
We don't know yet.
When the money allows it. And it stops leaking.
Yeah,
Or
it's
if it starts
leaking, it's
leaking.
leaking now, you
No,
said?
no, no, no.
No.
No, it's just, it's time.
It's time.
It's time. We'll see how
Okay.
much 20,000 can take him.
Okay.
Or 14,000 is what he told me.
He
so-
said 14, but we're stripping it. We're not just patching it.
And okay, you're not just
Taking the old stuff
overlaying
off.
it, you're
No,
taking the
no
existing
overlay.
shingles, do you know how many layers you have of the existing shingles now?
Just
One?
one roof on there. They
That's
said
good.
On a
Yes.
couple of ends, they look like they went
Yeah,
over
yeah.
it with a little bit of another one.
Yeah.
So
Probably where it's
just
leaking.
two spots, I think he said that it
Okay.
looks like they had.
Mm.
But the
Mhm.
whole roof is only one roof except for two spots
Mhm.
on the end.
Also, they're taking a chimney down. There's, I think there was like however many chimneys on that place.
Which one up there? Take a look.
The very one,
Didn't even see that up there.
Yeah.
the
I've got two
very,
copies.
you can't see it from here.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
It's the one on where the peak is right there,
Mm-hmm,
in the back.
mm-hmm.
And
There
so,
is something.
we're gonna take it down to where it's not having a problem. It's
Is it,
tired.
is it crumbling right
Been
now?
up there for 100 years.
It's just leaning.
Okay.
It's tired. It's, yeah. All the stuff in the front stays because that's for the, all the chimneys that are existing will stay.
And this is looking from Macomb or from,
You're
Yeah.
looking from the back side of the house. This is on McDonough. The front
Okay.
of this part is on McDonough. That side's Macomb.
yep,
So I don't know what that next street is, but it's
It's a nice
in
old
that
house.
back corner.
What he's looking at is north. The face of it right there, that's north.
Right,
Right.
right.
Yeah.
But it's on the east side. Yeah, it's on the east side.
okay.
So right on the other side of this one that's on the corner.
It's a good time to deal with it while it's got all those scaffolds.
That's what he wanted to do, so, and that's what we should do.
And you're not at this point proposing any other wood fascia work or
No.
all your flashings are gonna stay as they
Yes.
are
Yes.
today?
Yes, the only thing that he said that we would ever do to that is just probably scrape them and spray paint them, because they're all, the flashing's fine.
Good,
It's just, the paint.
yeah,
Leather.
that's good.
Yeah, so
Yes.
all that's in good shape. We have no damage, and we don't want none. So that's what we're trying to avoid here.
Nobody does.
Yeah, no, I know, but I was just trying to explain that.
So at this point, your application is once again to do as much of the roof as you can
This is
Yes.
the,
with a matching
McDonald's
shingle,
Yes,
similar in
What's
color,
yes.
It's a beautiful house.
Hopefully the
and then-
same.
That's killer.
with no other roofing improvements in terms of flashings or fascias
No.
or. And
Hopefully that's better grade than 20-something years ago. Who knows?
And you're gonna remove a deteriorated chimney on one side that's,
I don't know how far it's gonna have to come down, it could be capped, because I don't know, if it doesn't have to come all the way down, I prefer it not to.
Mhm.
Because
So-
of the aesthetics.
Yeah, so, to always have the chance to build it back up.
Mm.
But if it doesn't have to go to the ground, I don't want it to go down.
Because Santa Claus won't be able to get in, right?
Yeah, Santa Claus won't come for me. Darn. So that's pretty much it, and this is what he's going with. But same color.
okay.
How long are these permits for? I don't know that. How long do they,
until you're done. I mean, if you're asking us, ideally, you should probably ask us tonight to be able to do the entire roof, okay, with
Oh.
those materials, et cetera.
Yeah.
that's true too,
And
isn't
then
it?
the building inspector The trouble is, you're really only getting a permit to do half of it, but it wouldn't hurt to have it on record that we've agreed that this material is, as long as it's the same material.
Yeah, I
again,
don't want
Thank
to,
you,
That,
that's
that way,
really
I think
good.
you would not have to come back, because I
I
can understand the
thought
budget
that.
side of it. And I just want to mention, I've got the historic structure review file here from the register, and it doesn't mention anything special about your roof, which is actually a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay?
Which is surprising.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
You mean-
In the picture from 1978, your left chimney, which is now shortened, was taller, still existed.
Yes.
If you want to see it.
yes.
And again, I understand, we do like the idea of the look, that
Yes,
the
we do
chimney
too.
still is there, even if it's not usable.
Yes.
But I think, if you're replacing like with like, you could ask permission to do the entire roof, and that would then be on file, as long as it was exactly the same.
Yes.
And again, usually we would quote that it's CertainTeed brand,
Right, that's what
landmark,
he
designer
gave us,
shingle
so-
in a such and such color, and you'd have to quote that color to us.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
and whatever closest he matches on that, we'll
Yeah.
know exactly what it is, but until he gets up there,
Yeah,
yeah, I can't say it, it's either this or this.
But we don't stay the same as best you can.
Yeah,
yeah,
real close.
okay.
So we'll do the whole roof thing.
You'll do a what?
We'll do the whole roof instead of hard.
We'll give, well, I'm thinking tonight we should give you permission to
Thank you.
do the
That
whole
was
roof,
very
then you don't
nice.
have to come back.
I wouldn't have known any
Because
different.
it's all one roof.
Yes.
It's all one roof. Okay, and I understand the budgeting side of it.
So, that's all
Okay.
I'm doing.
So we do have a long form seeker that's been presented to support this application.
And we have some answers that need to be changed. I see you were
Oh, I don't
struggling,
doubt that. I'm just.
struggling
Oh, my
through here.
God.
I'm surprised nobody jumped forward and really helped you with this, but page 2, you've got a whole bunch of no's here of what permits and what boards you need to go in front of. Clearly, you need to come in front of us, okay, so that's number B, okay? So planning board, and the date would be today. And then, I believe this is usually filled out to say you still need a building permit from Joe.
Yes.
I think that would be what D,
Yeah,
other
yes.
local agencies,
Yeah.
is building inspector, get a roof permit, and that would be as soon as you write them the check and prove that we have approved it, you
Write
get your
me the check,
building,
go down there.
building permit, yeah. You could,
Or
you
they
fill
would
out the
do it.
paperwork, they have the approval from us. So I'm changing your answers on here that you do need to go in front of the planning board, and that you do need to get a roof permit from the building inspector, okay?
Will.
Then, coming down, part C2A, do any municipally adopted comprehensive land use plans include the site? The answer is yes.
Yes.
Okay, because it's a recognized district, they talk about the district, that answer is yes. Then, top of page 3, is this in a municipality with an adopted zoning law? Well, yes, the
Yes.
answer is yes. And is it in a special district? Yes.
Yes.
It's a historic site in a
I
historic
need to go to
district.
your house to help me.
There you go.
Yeah,
I like that
okay.
idea. There you go.
And what's the general nature of your action? And I think it would be residential, even though I
Not
realize you
commercial.
rent for money.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
it's still
residential.
residential. That is question D1. I didn't figure out number of units or any of this other stuff on here. I'm just mostly looking for the things that jump out at us. And of course, there's no problem with water or trash or wild animals that we need to protect or any of that stuff, okay?
Just me, thanks. That's nice, it was a motherly thing. I took one.
Okay. And of course, the waste is probably gonna go to the county dump.
Yeah, they're
Yep.
hauling it off, it's gonna stay.
And you're not repaving in any way, you're not changing your acreage, we don't need to worry about any of that. You don't need to worry about floodplains. I know there's a question here that talks about how close are we to the lake. Does anybody remember where that is?
You know where the Dominion Age goes?
Where is it?
Amtrak?
Yeah,
How far are you to that? Very close?
One street over.
natural
Where the
resources.
turtle is, and where,
The
Yeah,
turtle was
it's
way down on the
one
lake
block.
itself.
it's within a half mile.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
I would
yeah.
say half mile.
Half
Oh,
mile,
absolutely.
yeah, quarter mile to a half mile.
Yeah.
I'm looking, where it is, and I can't
No,
find
this,
it.
this is a good picture right here, I think.
Yeah.
It tells your ballpark.
Okay, and then you do have the right answer at the top of page 13, that it's a historic building.
Yeah,
I know.
McKenna's.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
I got it.
yeah.
It's a lot.
Okay, so I think those are the changes that need to be made on your application and for us to go through it.
Now, do we make those changes or do you
Um,
guys make them for us?
They'll be duly noted here.
They'll be noted, we
Within
just,
our,
as part of our,
So I don't have to remember everything she just.
No.
no,
no.
no.
She's got her calendar, she's that. Yeah.
Okay.
She did from the beginning.
Yes, she did.
No, surface water, no. Groundwater, no effect, flooding, no effect, at least we hope not.
No.
Plants and animals, no
The
effect.
first time.
Okay. Effect on aesthetic resources, okay. So what you're doing, maybe is it visible from the lake? Well, maybe, because it's your roof,
Summer
okay, and
and
your
winter. That would
pretty
make a
tall
difference.
building.
Yes.
Theoretically might be could be seen, I suppose. Are we gonna have any obstruction or elimination of designated views? I think the answer is no.
No,
Okay.
nothing's.
The key is here, I think we have no moderate to large impacts at all in the historic district by what you're doing, especially
Yeah.
because it's like for like, which is very important.
It make, yeah.
You
Okay.
just
And an
can't
improve-
change those
and a
things.
repair.
You
No.
just can't.
No.
Yeah. And again, part 10, impact on historic and archaeological resources, it's no to small impact regarding most of these items. And some of our questions at the top of page 5 are not answered, or they're out of order. I see what it is. It's stapled together in the wrong order, so forgive me. That's the problem, it's just in the wrong order. Okay.
Plants and animals got to know.
Yes, no
Yeah.
plants and animals effects.
Take care of that one.
Okay, so I think we're good?
When you talk about animals, what are you talking about?
Like protected animals, you know, like
Well,
some
if you want some.
snail that, you know,
groundhogs.
only exists on your street, which I don't think we have anything like that. right?
Not that I'm aware of.
You might see a raccoon go up.
I know there's a mockingbird in our neighborhood
Is there?
that's got a lot to say,
Oh,
but,
I like that. I
Yeah.
don't mind that.
yeah.
Woodpeckers too.
Yeah.
Knock, knock,
Okay,
knock.
so I think we're ready to deal with the seeker at this point. We've reviewed the long form. And I'd like to include this as part of the application. It's the
That's very
two-page,
nice, very nice
Chris,
of you.
you know, that we've looked at, or I've looked at, to report back to the board that there's no mention of a special roof.
So we're gonna
So,
include that as
we
part of the
include that as part of the
application.
application for the file,
Very nice.
okay?
See, this is painless. I thought, oh, God.
So-
Never did this before, you know,
Okay.
you're the unknown.
Yeah. So I think
So do I have a motion on the seeker?
I'd like to make a motion on the long
Negative
form seeker, that after having looked at the historic sections which relate to the application, we find no adverse environmental impact.
And the seeker application, yeah, I agree.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second? Any further comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We still have your application, so I do have an application, as presented, for the
Oh,
roof
yeah.
replacement.
Yeah.
You gonna make a motion, say the whole roof?
Make a motion to approve replacement of the whole
Can we see
roof
this for a minute?
consistent
Yes.
with the showing of the different varieties of specific roof shingle.
Certainty,
Specific
landmark,
certainty,
designer
landmark, designer shingles, and what color was that, ma'am?
It's one of
For the record?
Yeah, it's
She
either
thinks
the bottom.
either
or-
burnt sienna
Yeah,
or
this lighter
Well, it's not
color.
that one.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah,
or
that one?
Reson
Oh.
shade.
But I think it's more darker.
Yeah, I
than
think it
this.
is more darker than that. You are
That's what
correct,
it
which
looks
looks
like.
like that one up there.
That
Yeah.
dark?
Sienna's the
That's
same.
it.
yeah,
This
yeah.
and
Burnt
this is the
sienna,
same thing.
that's
Yeah,
it.
that's what it looks like to
That's
us.
the one.
Okay.
Yeah, burnt
Because I
sienna.
thought this was
You got
way
that,
too
Shelley?
light.
Yeah.
I've never
Yeah.
been up there and
That
I
hurt.
never go.
So we did have a question from the applicant in regards to color and the concern
Who
of
would, why would
color.
anybody care what color?
Well, in
Well,
theory,
because
You're in a
it's part of
historic
trying to
district.
keep it looking the same.
The same,
Is the
same,
the
that's the
point.
like for
Yes.
like
You
mention
really
that I
like
make.
a
Yep,
red roof
yep.
on a-
Yeah, like
On
what
a red
if,
building?
Something to stand out in the middle of the neighborhood.
though, in truth, if you decided you wanted to paint it pink, we
Yeah.
couldn't tell you not to,
Yeah.
truthfully.
Yeah, well. that's
But
not-
I don't think you are.
No, we're not into that.
Like for like.
So we
Okay.
have,
I think you made a motion?
Yes, I did.
John made a
Yes,
motion.
make motion to approve with those specific conditions being,
And
discussed.
recognizing that for
Recognizing,
the
yes.
entire roof,
Yes.
which will be
Yes,
probably a future
yes.
application.
Great.
Right.
That's very good.
You're definitely looking at half of the roof this year, though.
Yes,
Got that.
yes, to
Okay.
the backside.
And then
Okay.
the next half.
Yeah, and then
yeah.
hopefully we can,
You're thinking next 5 years sometime,
Oh,
probably?
yes.
Okay,
Oh,
see,
definitely.
I think that's important too, because, you know, the sun does beat down on a roof, and all
Exactly,
colors
it does.
change over time.
That's
So if you
right.
do it within 2 or 3 years, you're all right, you
Yeah.
know?
I think,
that's what we're looking at. We're
I
just
think,
floating
Hmm.
along.
Okay?
I think you should also be clear, John, that this doesn't involve any other improvements on the roof
Oh.
itself.
Right.
You-
Oh, and mention the
it does
chimney.
include
It's okay to-
Why
the,
am I talking? You know,
No,
you can
you-
talk
no,
too, you know,
go
damn.
ahead.
All right, yeah, it does not, it does include also the chimney repair
Okay.
and perhaps cut back a little bit.
Yeah.
The sprucing
They're
up of
mentioned in
the
the-
flashing,
Chris system.
but no
It's
other
Italian-
improvements to the facial.
It's
Fascia.
Italian
No.
house.
Yeah,
nothing.
mamma
That's the
mia.
style,
What-
and who lived there, et cetera.
What would happen
Okay.
down
In
the
the-
road?
on the sheet.
If you decided that you wanted to afford to put a metal roof on a place like that,
We
could you?
can't.
No,
You
Probably
can't.
not.
No.
that would be very bad.
Yes.
It would look
You
very
kill the
out of
historical-
character.
Even when they have colors?
Could
Yeah.
be an original roof.
so I do, so,
Original roof could have been.
Oh,
made.
guys.
so at this
Could have been,
point,
but it's
How
still
do you
You're
know?
nuts.
I do have a motion,
Yeah.
and I do have a second.
Second.
Help me here. You,
If there's no further comments from the board,
Can I see the Chris page for a minute?
is this
Rick wants to see it.
a question before we?
No, he just wants to see
No.
it.
are we
Okay,
good?
And I'll show you how to log in and read them
okay, if there's no
yourself.
further
I
comment,
want a copy. of
all in
I know.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay,
So,
motion
You're
carries.
giving me the blue now?
So
Well, we
you're,
got the
you're
boot.
approved.
so all we
Thank
gotta
you.
do is go down and pay for the permit?
You
Yep.
gotta go
That's
down to the
it.
building
That's
inspector and work
That's
through that.
it. You made it very helpful by bringing that in. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you, thank you very
Yeah.
much.
See building inspector.
Yes.
That's the same office, isn't it?
No,
No,
that's
downstairs.
downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Floor level, no
Joe.
stairs.
Thank you, honey.
Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much.
I was dreading this, it was wonderful. Bye.
Okay. Moving on, planning board application number 2019-06. This is for 100 Court
Good.
Street.
No, really?
I drink a lot.
Yeah.
Another request to replace existing slate roof with new synthetic slate or slate imitation shingles. Applicant is Legal Aid Society of Northeastern New York. Plan preparer is Peter Reset.
Hi,
I'm
I'm Peter Reset.
Peter Reset.
I'm Peter Reset. I'm with the Legal Aid Society of Northeastern New York. We're looking to replace our roof because it is leaking. And leaking somewhat badly. I've had to close one of my offices because of the water infiltration. And move staff out of that office. We've repaired that roof on a number of occasions. And nobody has been able to solve the water infiltration problem, which made us decide we needed to start from scratch.
New roof.
Here's a slate roof, and my show and tell includes some of the existing slates, which I could get because I walked around my building and picked them off the ground this morning. They're falling off. For what it's worth, that's the existing slates.
Yeah.
And
Overdue.
what we're looking to replace it with, I brought these as well, because I got them from my roofer. same thing those folks had, except it's the Landmark Pro, which was an option that he gave us. It's a 50-year warranty instead of a 30, and the cost was negligible to go to it, $700, I think. So we were gonna go with the 50-year Pro, and what he gave me, so it's the Max Def Georgetown Gray is the name one on this.
Max Def.
This one is the Max Def Granite Gray, and this is the Max Def Cobblestone Gray. And I don't really care which of these grays we choose. I would like it to be as close as possible to what we have existing there now.
Slate roof. Those don't look like slate replacements.
So, up to this point, the board hadn't received, up until 5 minutes before the meeting, all we had was the application and the seeker form. This is new information that
Handed
not
out.
sure if everybody in the board has seen
Yeah.
or has a copy of this from the applicant. Which is,
Basically, it's the estimate that I selected. At the time I filed, I didn't have my estimates yet. We got a few estimates in, and then it's the brochure for the Landmark series. I didn't get these until about 5:30 tonight, so I went and got the brochure from you guys, so you have something to look at.
so in this case, you have a slate roof.
We have a
It's
slate
not,
roof.
it's not asphalt.
It's not.
And you're looking to totally replace it with an asphalt shingle.
Correct.
Would you be open to an asphalt shingle that has a slate appearance?
Yes, I thought that was what these were. I think that's what he was, when we asked him to make it the shingles that look like slate.
Okay. And those aren't the style that we've seen as the board?
Yeah, we've seen stuff that literally looks like rubber slate pieces, but it's not slate.
You mean what's on,
Maple Fields.
and also
Violet's home?
Violet?
Violet's home, right.
Yeah.
Very good, boys.
Do you happen to know what that product is? Because I was basing it on what my roofers were talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah,
They
I
just
would
really
guide
come in
your
front of the
roofer
plant.
to go take a look at the Violet's home and the Maple Fields,
Which
so that
Maple
they can
Fields?
get the one, or the brand new one over by Pizza
right.
Hut on Route
Okay.
9 going out of town.
Well, if we jump, this may sound retarded here, but if we jump forward, this next guy, who we
Yes.
haven't looked at yet,
Yes.
for 28 New York Road, is
Yeah.
proposing using, I
Yes.
believe, the product that was used at Maple Fields.
Correct, it's
So,
strewn, yes.
so does he actually
Owens?
list it out?
I didn't,
Owens?
$100 a square to have a roofer put them on.
$100 a square?
$1,100 a square,
Oh,
material and labor.
Owens, Corning, Berkshire, Colonial, Color.
Steve Monahan did it for the Maple
Here.
Fields over there, I got a price.
This is what,
yeah, it gives you, we're trying to push you in the right direction, you know? Yeah, you did nice homework on this one. Yeah, yeah. Oh, dear me.
see, on one hand, you're not, unlike the application before you, you're not replacing like with like, okay? But on the other hand, we need to look at, we're gonna look at the inventory sheet for this particular building in this neighborhood. And the inventory sheet basically says it's a contributing structure to the district, meaning it's not one of the really older structures that makes it a historic district, but it's a contributing structure. It was added to the register in 1981. At that point, the outside was clapboard and aluminum siding. And I mean, major alterations, it's got aluminum siding on it. It went onto the register with aluminum siding on it.
I'm not sure that's correct, Marissa.
Well, that's what, this was, again,
Because
do you think they took it off?
Well, so this is, I mean, I have a limited history there,
Yeah.
as you know.
Yeah.
But I did.
And we can't ask Dean Wheeler.
I did, Dean Wheeler will not be answering any questions tonight or any other night,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
But while we were there, and this was probably around 2012, 2013, I did get a permit
Yeah.
from this board in order to paint the building.
Yep.
And it was masonite siding.
Ah.
And the masonite siding, what we needed the permit for is we were replacing, there was about a third of the siding was deteriorated, and we were replacing it with a concrete wafer board that matched the width and dimensions of the masonite. So as far as I know, there was no aluminum siding.
And again, it
on the
may have been
building.
on,
It was this
it may have,
masonite
in
product.
81, it may have been this, and then it came off, and then something else went on.
Correct,
But it's clearly not the original, it's not clapboard, okay?
it
It's
was,
not,
it was masonite, which
Yeah.
I understood was a product of the
yeah,
60s
and the date of
70s.
initial construction is 1911, per the historic record. Okay. So bearing that in mind,
Will you be, any of your flashings or fascia or any other?
No, I don't think he
improvements?
was planning on changing any of that. He was gonna, his proposal was to put the 7/16 plywood down, vapor barrier. All eve edges shall receive 2 courses of self-adhering ice and water shield, commercial grade, wide face drip edge at all roof section edges, so.
So in this case, once again, you'll be shingling right down to
I assume
the,
he'll be shingling right down
to the edge.
to the edge.
To the
Yeah.
edge.
Drip edge going in there.
removing the metal fascia look on the roof's edge. So,
And the roofing material is not listed in there, Marissa?
No, they don't. There's no, I mean, sometimes they mention it, okay? They have, it's like a checklist. This is the form that's given to them by the register, so I have to go with it. They have shingles down, but I think the shingles is just the, up in the front, the,
Correct.
is it
There's-
green? I'm trying to remember, is it green and white?
Yeah, yes, it's green
So,
and white.
and that upper section is shingled,
There is, the shingles are on the east side of the building. There is a porch with sort of a smaller porch on top of that, and they both are shingled.
oh,
Um,
I'm looking at, come look at this. This is a 1981 picture, and it's of course not in color or anything, because I used a
Yeah.
black and white printer. I was
This-
thinking this is not
Oh,
shingled.
no, this is, this.
That's shingled up
this-
there.
These are cedar shingles.
Yeah,
And these were the ones that have, these are the ones that have asphalt on them.
Right.
This roof
Right.
and this roof.
okay.
That is cedar shingle. And when we were doing the painting, that line of shingles we replaced with cedar at
Uh-huh.
this board's request.
Yeah,
They needed to be replaced, squirrels were chewing through them, coming into the attic. So those were all replaced, but they were
Okay.
replaced with shingles that were painted the same color.
okay. So that's the shingles that are referred to.
Cedar shingles.
Yeah. Yeah, good, okay.
were you here for the second story?
Yes,
That
I was
area?
here for the, right off to the right there.
Yes.
Yes, I was here for that.
Like a couple years ago.
Correct, I
you
think 2015.
Did a plan for
Yes.
Did you do
how
it?
the windows
Yes, we
were
did.
gonna look.
Okay.
and-
Yes, that is actually office space for us now, whereas before it was nothing.
It was a porch, right?
It was a porch, it was a 3-season porch that was of no use to us.
That I can remember being on at about 16 and drinking beer. That was a long time ago.
So at this point, you're looking at the slate
All right.
roof on the main
The main
structure.
building, the main structure, correct. Not-
This other side, or the addition and the three-season porch above, those are in asphalt.
Those are an asphalt product, and they have been. And when they redid that porch on the second story there to the right, I think they just put more asphalt on it.
Okay.
So we're talking the main building roof right now. which is what we're all assuming is the source of our water.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
So the decision is not Victorian building in a somewhat Victorian neighborhood. Do we want to go with this kind of roof as opposed to insisting on that, we'll call it the Maple Fields roof, whatever that name is. And the fact that they've got this emergency situation of closure of part
What's
of
it
the
on the
building.
historical register for?
Just as a contributing property, meaning, because when you look at the register, it often says contributing, non-contributing. If you have a real modern house plopped down in the middle, they just say it's non-contributing. So they're saying it's contributing, but it's historical and architectural importance. It was owned in 1916 by S.S. Allen, a lawyer of Allen and Allen at 34 Margaret Street, who first appears at this address in 1912. It's a contributing structure in good condition, characteristic details of the simple suburban shingle style of architecture. And again, no mention of the roof, of the fact that the roof is slate or that the roof in some way contributes to the style. And it also helps that the building is front-facing. That, for instance, this secondary roof probably won't even be seen at all by anybody in
Yeah.
the street. And yes, you're gonna see the side of the roof as you drive up the street.
But the front
But
roof right
front
now
facing-
already has asphalt shingles.
Yeah, and front-facing, you don't see this roof at all. So, you know me, I'm a purist, but my feeling is that this is probably acceptable. And again, somewhat irrelevant, you're a nonprofit and you haven't got money to burn.
I'm hopeful we have the money to do this.
Okay.
We're pretty sure we do, so.
So, how do you want to feel about
I think,
enforcing slate for slate? But I'm thinking as we look at individual properties in individual neighborhoods, you look at the age of the property and how it contributes to the neighborhood.
I'm
Well,
more
with
interested
Vilas, did they come here and they had to do that type of shingle?
Yes,
Because it's the Vilas one, right?
because it's a property on the register, it's a big
It's
monumental
a big
property that
one.
really
It's
shows.
a mother load,
Yeah.
yes. There are three options available in this case. There's slate for slate, there's the pseudo slate, and then there's regular asphalt shingles.
Actually, it'd be
Which one-
four. It'd be slate for slate,
Yeah.
which nobody's gonna do.
Nobody's gonna do.
Fake rubber slate, which
Right.
is expensive because it's very
Right.
labor intensive. Super
Maple
shingle,
Fields.
Maple
This is the Maple
Fields,
Fields one.
which
Maple
costs a
Fields
lot.
one,
And
yeah.
what you're proposing, I mean, you're also proposing a nicer, a 50-year warranty, right?
Correct.
Right, so it's actually an upscale product. It's not,
Sounds good.
I'm kind of feeling we could, and again, I'm hoping you can afford it.
I think we can afford it. I'm concerned, I guess I'm concerned about two things with the Maplefield option. One is the time.
Yeah.
And two is, can we afford that?
Yeah.
I struggled a bit to find roofing contractors who were able to get me on their
Schedule,
Yeah.
Do
yes.
it now, yeah,
Yeah.
with what you're proposing there. I would agree with that, boss. Yep.
okay. So, we have the application as presented, the two options are what I believe the applicant has presented for their roofing shingle style. In complete slate replacements, we have, the board looked at a different style of asphalt shingle that gives you a slate appearance, but it's still an asphalt shingle. Where does the board stand on that?
Trying to decipher the products. Oh, so you have Landmark Pro, Landmark Premium, and Landmark. Which,
He did not give me a price, I believe, on the premium. He gave me the price on the Pro and the regular. Certainty 30-year Landmark fiberglass shingle, and then the second was an upgrade to Certainty Landmark Pro 50-year.
that the one you got the price quote on, the
Yeah.
50-year?
I got it on both the 50-year and the 30-year,
Okay,
but I would go for the 50-year.
yeah. You have part of your roof that is non-slate right now, that is asphalt.
Asphalt, and I also have part of my roof which is rubber.
So I'm
There's-
saying.
Rubber.
There's an
Oh, for the
addition,
love.
Rubber,
Oh, my.
right below those two windows right there is an addition
yeah,
that is on grade. It's not part of the basement of
Uh-huh.
it. And that was done in rubber as part of the 2011 renovation
Uh-huh.
to the building, which was done, but it was not slate that came
Yeah.
off of that.
Yeah.
That was asphalted and reposted.
I was simply gonna state style and color should be attempted to be matched in this case.
no, we should be, definitely, I think we
You
should
see
be
what I
saying
mean?
it's part of the, we should pick part of the landmark series, because all of these landmark series really do have that staggered, I'm gonna call it a staggered look, which is, that slate is not perfectly shaped.
Right,
And-
we don't know what's on those other roofs.
And it eventually
so-
looks like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We don't, you see, that's the point I'm trying to make, is we don't know what's on the other roofs too.
yeah. And your color there, you,
The colors here, the three that I thought were probably the closest because they were the gray.
yeah.
But I am not wedded to any color.
Yeah,
I'm
what's
glad to
this,
take-
that, the gray, what is the gray there, the big gray that we're
This-
looking at?
this is
That
the-
name
this
says
is
what?
cobblestone gray.
Cobblestone.
And this is granite gray. And this is Georgetown gray. And I'm indifferent to which one we put
Yeah.
on. I do not have much of a sense of color, so anybody who,
But they all have the same design.
They say the same design. I mean, you're looking at it, it's
So,
a, you know, this kind of
Right.
shape.
I mean, one option may be just to let the roofer choose the best match, because having actually gone and taken these pictures, granted it was a gray day, but I wouldn't be able to tell from
No,
ground
that's
my
which
point.
one of those is
No.
closest.
and he was the one who said these three are probably your
The
closest. So
closest.
he delivered these to me late this
I
afternoon.
think at this point, my preference is for the board to pick a color.
Yeah.
Don't leave it so wide open.
Okay. Well, the thing is, it really, if we pick a
that
color,
non-decision.
I guess what we can say is that either, and it's funny, this actually seems to have a little green in it, but God only knows the lighting in this room, you know, who knows? It looks a little greenish rather than grayish.
So that has the bigger ones. I don't know. I was not able to discern any difference between these myself.
I'm not good with color.
That one looks greener.
Right, it does look a little green.
Marble gray, yeah.
That's the,
You know I love my
that's the
rocks.
granite. This one.
Yeah, once again, from my ground
And
view,
that's the
I think the
Georgetown.
granite is the closest
Yeah.
to what's up there.
Metamorphosed shale. Well, yeah, that's what it is,
Granite,
boss.
Max Def Granite Gray.
Colors.
I'm looking at all the colors of the roofs in the neighborhood.
Oh my.
any pink?
Could match, yes, as a matter of fact, directly across the road.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, again, if we say it's gonna be Max Def Granite Gray, we're pretty much locking you into the 50-year shingle.
Correct.
Because it doesn't come, you see what I mean? In other words, that color doesn't come in the regular 30-year. Okay, so if we pick that color, you're stuck with 30.
I'm good with the 50-year. The price difference is not very big.
Okay,
For a 20-year, a 30-year, or a 50-year, I'd much
Yeah.
less than $1,000.
okay,
So if the applicant is comfortable with that?
yeah,
50-year, did you call it granite gray? Is that what it was?
it's this one right here.
I'm sorry.
It's right here, Max Def
Max
Granite Gray,
Def.
50. I
There's
know
a
it sounds like a
band.
rapper,
It's
yeah.
rare, no, heavy metal, yeah.
So it looks like we have a style of shingle, a color.
Seeker.
Applicant doesn't sound to have any other questions or concerns in that regard. So with that said, we do have the
Long form seeker.
long form seeker presented. Perhaps we can go down through that
And
review.
once again, should never let a lawyer fill out any forms. Okay.
I Take it easy.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
Marissa and I
okay.
go way back.
Way back.
We go way back.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Marissa has made a career, literally, of correcting my
Driving
mistakes.
Peter crazy.
She enjoys it very
No,
much.
correcting my mistakes,
She
not
likes it.
driving me crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, it's okay. Okay, page 2 of 13 on the long form seeker. We do have planning board historic site review, noted for March, but you finally got here, it's okay. And then other local agencies would be, yes, you actually need to get a building permit from the building inspector. That would be the final step
That's
on
D.
that. Yeah, D, okay. And again, did you use the autofill on this, or did you just, do you remember?
I believe that I based it off the last one that I did,
Okay.
which met with the board approval, and I thought I got it through once.
Okay, okay. Let's see here. Okay, so next, C2, adopted land use plans. Do any municipally adopted land use plans include this site? And the answer is yes. We have a plan, okay? Let's see here. Are you in a regional planning district brownfield area? Whatever,
No.
you got that yes, and I think that needs to be no.
Definitely not a
You're
brownfield,
You're in a
no.
special district, but it's not a special planning district.
Okay.
So I'm changing that answer on C2 Part B to no, and removing your answer of local historic district from there.
Okay.
Because it's the right answer in the wrong place, okay? Let's see here. Let's say, do you have a zoning law? Yes. Is it permitted? Yes. Okay. And the rest of this I'm not too worried about in terms of your acreage, et cetera, or animals, or water, or flooding. You're gonna have disposal of solid waste. Any idea how much solid waste actually could probably sell? There are people
It's fill.
that
It's
buy
fill. It's good fill.
real
It's easily
slate.
compacted and it's good fill. Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm on page 8 of 13 that yes, you will have the disposal of solid waste. Not enormous amounts, but they're gonna rip your roof off and do something with it, okay?
It's good art.
Good art stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
Seriously.
fundraiser.
Fundraise-
Art on
Pay for
tiles, okay.
All right, you
Well,
got,
Hey, they did it at Clinton Community College when they changed the roof.
I'm impressed.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, let's see here. Surrounding areas, student housing, residential, that's all fine. Not worried about that. Okay. Are there facilities serving children, elderly, people with disabilities, group homes within 1,500 feet? And I think the answer to that is yes.
There is a, I think BHSN has
It's
a
the-
group home up the street. I
Yes,
don't know whether
it's the
in
corner, I'm thinking that's 1,500 feet,
Okay.
yeah.
It's the corner of what? Is that William Court?
It's Court and Helen? No, Court
No,
and,
it's,
not Williams.
Either
Wells.
Wells or William,
Yep,
yeah.
Wells and Court, corner. Okay. Contam,
MAI property.
you think that's 1,500 feet?
Oh,
Might be.
easily.
Yeah,
It's easily
okay.
within.
The MAI building, what's the senior center
Yeah.
building? Okay, you've answered the question. No wetlands, no floodplains. No landmarks, okay. So we get to the top of 13 where, yes, you recognize you're a historic building or district. You're actually a historic building in a historic district. I think the rest is okay. Signed by you, so we've changed a few answers to be able to approve your seeker.
Okay.
Okay, so change your answers on yours, so
Yep,
the
and
next
then-
time you come, you'll have the right answers.
So, with that said, do I have a motion?
I think we have a motion. I will make a motion.
Yeah.
Regarding appeal 2019-06 for 100 Court Street to accept the long form seeker as amended, and find no adverse environmental
Environmental
impact.
impacts, right.
Second.
Second. If there's no further comment, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We do have a historic site review application for a roof replacement.
You're gonna do it.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve said plan, including the replacement of the roof using Landmark
that
Pro.
door? Close that door.
I was doing good.
I know, but.
Using Landmark,
Jesus, people.
damn. Landmark Pro 50-year shingles, specifically Max Def Granite Gray.
Thank you.
Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, anything else? No? Thank you.
Okay.
Well, John,
Do I have a second?
I proudly second that.
Second by Rick. Any further comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Rough. Thank you, boss.
Motion carried.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
And
Peter, 33 years.
what's that?
I've been 33 years.
33 years?
Yeah, I think that was Shanti though. You weren't around then. You might have been around then. But that's how long I've been
Thanks.
driving people crazy. Okay.
Moving on to application number 2019-07, 28 New York Road.
Guys got it all ready.
Project description is request to replace existing slate roof with new shingles that resemble slate. The applicant is IBEW Local 910. Plan preparer is Dan Hoover.
Good evening, everybody. I know I kind of bombed on my historic site review paperwork there in the long form seeker, but
They're not easy.
they aren't. This is the
No.
third one I've done.
Yeah.
I started these with the windows in 2013, which I did come before the board, and I did get rid of
All right,
them and
thanks,
everything.
Here, one for
I
everybody.
did it again in 2015, 2016 for the solar panels.
Oh, yeah.
But what we have is, I've got a building constructed in 1890. Marisa might know better than me what year that burned.
What year, what burned? I missed it.
Part of old building 751 Ohio, which would have been marked on the register as, now it's 28 New York Road.
Oh,
The southeast side of that building burnt pretty hot. It burnt through the floor joists, up through the second floor, and the only thing that kept the fire from going through the roof was the slate. Anybody that's had done any work with slate knows that slate has a very favorable amount of oil in it. That's what keeps it waterproof. Once that reaches a certain temperature, it boils the oil out of the slate, which renders it pretty much useless. So what I'm looking at now is 67 1/3 squares of slate, which slate weighs about 660 pounds per square.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody knows what the cost of that's gonna be, but it's gonna be over $95,000.
You mean
Okay?
slate for slate?
Slate for slate.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus the weight, and I'm gonna have to put 3/4 inch plywood back over the top. If anybody has any knowledge of the way Park worked, excuse the way I'm gonna say this, but they're a bunch of hacks. Okay, they went in there, they never nailed any new rafters up to the old rafters that were burned, they just wedged them in there. Okay, never went back up, peeled the slate off that roof and refastened the boards down, so I've got nails in there that were made in 1890. They've been put through the heat too. I'm not whining and, oh, woe is me. I mean, we bought the building outright, $175,000. I've not asked the federal government for anything. I've not asked the city or the state for anything, okay? And one half of our organization is a not-for-profit. It costs me $15,000 a year to put an apprentice through the 5 years of training, okay? So we kind of want to get out of this, you know, least money out of our pocket as we can, but we want it done right. And I never come back on anybody, I never went back on the city, any of the planning boards for the vibration that was done next door when they were putting their pavement down. I could feel that all the way on my opposite side of the building. I'm sure you had books fall off your shelf. I had metal cabinets that were rattling all over. We got the train going by out there every day too. You're feeling the vibration, that's moving. Okay, that slate's been up there since 1890. The wind is a lot stronger down through there. I got 3x5 rubber mats that are up against a fence over at North Country Kids. Okay, it's just stuff that I can't control. I put $26,000 into that roof already, fixing up 4 feet, because Park, when they used to go up there to get the ice dams down, they would take a chipping hammer, a mason's hammer, and that's what they would do. And then they would put some caulking back through. Okay, we took all the old lead metal off the edge of the eaves because they used to have the hidden gutters up there. You can see the downspouts that are still left in my soffit. We fixed all that in, filled it in. Those boards aren't good. I don't feel comfortable putting them up there. I called Hilltop Slate, got the price for it. It's gonna be over $90,000 for me to do that. Tear it off, put plywood down, put 67 1/3 square slate back up there. Even the shingles that I proposed were $1,100 a square. That's gonna come in around 75,000. That's a big lift for somebody, anybody, you know? North Country Kids, I don't know when they came before the board with Conroy and Conroy, they tore the roof off on a Friday. I was in that building, then Tom Millay retired, I took over in July 2009. They tore the roof off on a Friday, put the new roof on over the weekend, finished capping it off on a Monday, and you can go by there and you can see their shingles already off of there. They're regular architectural shingles. I was up in the second story. Buzzy Melinak was putting the brick on there. They're like a half brick. You know, I watched the whole thing go on, never said anything about it. You'll see pictures in there of the addition that's on the old administration building. That's typically considered the end of the historic Oval District. That addition has asphalt shingles on it because every time the wind blows over 40 miles an hour, I'm picking them up out of my parking lot. Not once have I come in here and complained about that stuff either. The paper that I just put out there with the picture on it, Building 29, Marisa, you might know the exact date on that. I believe that was early 1900s.
The Cultural Resource Center information is pretty sketchy because it was added, all these buildings were added as part of the expanded historic district, not the regular process of the Federal Register. So it's just considered eligible for the Federal Register. It's not actually on the register, it's on city register.
Right, isn't that the one right next to the old stable?
And we have a picture of your building, et cetera, but it doesn't really tell us much. I'm trying to remember, was it the old quartermaster building?
That's the old quartermaster's store, yep.
Yep.
That's when it was erroneously
So
marked.
unlike these ones that have gone before us tonight, where we have someone's determination who lived there, what kind of style the building is and everything, there's very little, actually, when you go on the CRIS system. Though, the park, what's it called, HEAC, what's the thing called for the base, for all the buildings on the base?
The programmatic?
Not the programmatic, the big 4 or 5 volume of pictures and analysis of each building, that they have to document it before they turn it over?
I don't know.
You don't know that, okay, well, anyway, it's a big collection of
Yeah.
photographs and everything
We
regarding.
were never made privy at our closing time. I've got, Blitman and King are looking into it now, the deal between the former Clinton County IDA when the transaction took place with the city.
Yeah.
We never received any of that paperwork, so, and we used Blitman and King on the closing too,
Yeah.
so they're looking through everything now as we speak. I haven't gotten an answer back.
That would be one of our things tonight, is because it's ruled by the programmatic agreement, which is tied to your deed, that you would need to, we'd need to notify SHPO of what your proposed
Did they get anything back?
is gonna
I
look
haven't
like.
gotten anything back from Chico.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that, I mean, it's just that you notify them and they have a right to comment,
Right.
and then we take their input.
Because
look
it's
at
part
it.
of the program.
Because it's part,
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
part of
Yeah.
a deed that's under the programmatic
I
agreement.
did the electronic file on that.
Yeah.
I did it, first time it come back, they told me that I didn't have anything to worry about, and then I was contacted a little bit later by Charlize, and she told me that I must have talked to the wrong person, and then I went through, is it Beth?
Beth Cummings.
And then I electronically filed that shortly after, probably the day after I spoke to you on the phone. And then I had contacted Colin too. I paid for my permit in July of last year. And I'm still kind of waiting. I've got holes, when we were up putting in the new insulation on the second floor, it would be on the east side. I can see pinholes up through there. We actually tried to do the right thing because I believe it was the last hailstorm that was really pounding the top slate up around where the ridge cap is, the old metal ridge cap up there. And we had 3 different people come out and, engineers for our insurance company, and they all told us it was nails popping up. And surely nails would have popped up by now, you know. So, you know, here we are. So that's why I don't wanna wait too much longer.
When did you submit the SHPO?
I submitted to SHPO a couple of weeks ago, I
I'd say
believe.
about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, because I
They
get
have
these
30
papers
days?
on 3/12, and
So,
Yeah,
I'll have to go back and look in my email, and 'cause I know I did the online deal. I'd say at least 3 weeks ago.
I wanna say it was
did
the Monday right after the deadline, so I think it must have been about 3 weeks ago, at minimum.
Yeah, so we're probably, you know, we're getting close. I want to do the right thing. We've been good neighbors with everybody. I don't bother anybody. I mean, I put the cedar trees in front of the solar panels, and Maple Fields doesn't have any place to put their snow, so they push their snow up in there on them, and I think that's kind of stunned them a little bit, but they come back, they clean it up. They're good neighbors. You know, Tony's always looking out for everybody over there too, you know. I don't even say anything when the raccoons and the animals come into the old admin building. I just kind of laugh it off, and I got stuff chewing my dumpster up, and, I mean, nobody bothers anybody down there, but I want to do the right thing. I want to keep it as historical as we can. I think the most significant there is probably, you know, the date that it was built, and, you know, as part of the whole deal out there, you know, but putting slate back on anything today is,
So,
it's a big lift. for
so at this point, you're proposing a shingle similar to like Maple Fields?
If I could get away with that, I think my boss would probably not kill me, with them. That's gonna be 75 to 80,000. They're 1,100 a square, Steve Monahan said, and he did the ones next door for Maple Fields.
Yeah.
I've got 67 and a third, and then I've got the plywood cost that I've gotta throw on there too. I don't have to go 3/4 ply, I could probably go 15, 30 seconds with
Yeah.
that. And that's gonna keep me intact. That would put me, you know, probably 72 to 75,000 with the Maplefield ones. The ones next door that Conroy and Conroy used on North Country Kids, they're a black architectural. That would probably put me between 42 and 46,000.
So what is your application in front of SHPO?
That one was black architectural shingles. I was mad that day, and charcoal gray standing seam metal. And that's what I just got off the phone with Mr. Calla. He was the attorney that was present in our closing. He doesn't work for Blitman anymore, but he still does all the land closings and all that, and he does this historical stuff
this is
for
what
him.
this is what he sent.
And
No, 'cause
I'm like, I can't believe you didn't
I got it in
divulge
my
this
packet
stuff,
too.
you know, who did the abstract? And he goes,
Yeah, I
well,
like
I'm not
that.
sure, you know, I can't find
I
any
like that.
information, so then I got back on the phone with Beth, and I said, I'll just do it this way, and
Which is better
put
than
like a
this.
charcoal
Way
gray
better
color,
than that.
architectural
Crap.
shingles or standing
That's,
seam roof.
Air Force did that.
And,
Yeah, I know.
But they'll give something back, I'm sure.
So at this point, once the board, I guess, a while back was informed or made clear the programmatic agreement, we've been consistent with getting, requesting SHPO comment in regards to applications.
Right.
Um,
They have 30 days, right? So,
I
Right.
believe so. They've been pretty responsive with the applications we've seen that have had to go get, get their comments.
right.
The only thing I can say is, make sure that you touch base with them, and, if they have concerns about that initial application, that
Right.
try to address those, so that when it comes back to this board,
We've got something down.
we've got something that
Right.
we can move forward with. I mean, I have no objection if the board doesn't, if you received your response, a week
Right.
from now, and just needed to get that to come back to next month, then I don't know what your timeframe is in terms of needing to know when they're on the application.
This Friday is the regular deadline, but for anything that's continuing information, I can accept it all the way up till next Friday.
Okay.
Okay.
So, I mean, does the board see any other missing information at this point other than
No.
SHPO?
No, we need,
No.
we need an opinion, just because of where the building's
Right.
located.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay,
they have lead, yeah.
okay. So I think ultimately, once you're able to get your SHPO response back, make sure that corresponds and goes along with whatever your application is for here.
Okay.
We'll consider it a continuation
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
of tonight, So long as you meet Shalice's deadline for advertising.
Okay, sounds like a plan, I appreciate it.
Okay.
And then I'll definitely, I've got one bundle of maybe style shingles laying on my counter in the back. You can bring it down and then I can bring something else. And whatever you guys
Packed
want to put up.
meeting today,
Okay.
you know?
I think as long as, once again, your application goes along with the SHPO response you get.
Whatever shingles come down.
Like if the SHPO people say, no, we don't like that, you may need to forward something quickly to SHPO to try to get a turnaround so that you aren't screwed up
Yeah,
with 2 months
with the-
worth
with
for construction.
For the
Okay.
pseudo
So-
slate
so-
ones, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good, is that it?
That's it for
Okay,
tonight.
thank you very much, have a great night.
Thanks, you too.
Take care.
Do we have any minutes at all?
Okay. So, moving on, we do have one more item for consideration. This is other business.
Yeah.
Planning board item number 2018-22, 206 US Oval.
Where are you going?
Recusing myself,
Yeah.
Joe. Wait.
All right.
So, I don't know
It's
that,
gonna tackle you, you know?
I don't know that there's a motion per se to be made
Oh,
on
okay.
this
Yeah.
application.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I think he's looking for a decision. It sounds
just like
it.
that, jump to decision.
But you know what? On the flip side of that, I think we also, as a board, made it very consistent, like 6 months ago, we said
Yeah.
that the applicant had to be here to
Yeah.
make a,
Yeah.
Yeah.
to present the application if there was
Yeah.
a decision to be made.
Yeah.
If this
Yeah.
is just a recommendation, then I'm fine with that, but if we're gonna actually vote on a decision, then I think we gotta have someone here to present it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what the board decided.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just mention
Sounds good.
something on this thing?
Yep.
Lake City Holdings LLC has limited capital, cannot afford to do what the planning board suggested. The one item in there that does appear to be what we did suggest that has money value attached to that is a comment letter by SHPO, that's not money. Professional engineer, design architect to provide a report regarding the project site. Basically looking at it and giving a report of 2 to 4 pages saying, look, if you're gonna demo this, this is how you do it. These are the hazards you will have to look into from a safety and, environmental, health, environmental safety aspect. You know, I think that's the big thing that we're looking at here, to be protective of it and to be, caring for our cities, which is what we're doing, sitting at this table. So, I got a big difference of opinion with that regard to that, so I disagree with that. You can't, just because you say you don't have the money, everybody that comes here, half the people that come are necessarily bathing in money to do what they need, but they go to their nth degree to try to make it work, so I disagree with that. That's the big thing. This is a safety hazard, it's partially fallen down,
and he
it's not
says it's for
good.
sale, so if somebody buys it.
Yeah, there's a
they
money,
can
there's a
buy
money
it
value, yeah.
Knowing they're gonna need to tear it down and come in front of the
Yeah,
board
get the
and
money out of the guy
reduces
who's buying it, that's right,
Right.
that's right, how much he gets to keep.
I think there's two aspects to this. I guess number one, other than the request for a design professional to look at this.
Yes.
And render a plan opinion.
Yes,
Other than that, the other items is something that the applicant should just be able to bring
Address.
forward and address.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
it should be part of a complete application.
yeah, the
So
SHPO,
that's-
yeah, and not only that, yeah, show up to the meeting,
So
yeah.
that's number one. Number two, if, once again, a decision is to be made or an application to be presented for a decision of the board, then someone legally representing the applicant or
Yep.
the applicant should be here.
Yep,
I-
Can I just make a comment? With respect to the safety issue, is there any risk to the surrounding area of any potential contaminants? that
you
are-
mean like asbestos, dust,
Yeah, and,
lead,
I mean,
base
if
paint?
They don't do anything. It's
I don't know what's in it, that's my point.
In my,
We don't know.
From Joe.
Is there a way that we could?
Joe doesn't know.
well, in my mind, in my mind,
Because in the meantime,
that,
it's posing a risk to
What's in that mind's
people
gonna-
around there
that,
as it's crumbling, and that's not good.
that, I believe that decision falls in the building inspector's office,
Absolutely.
not on this board. If the building
You're right about
inspector's,
that.
if the building inspector's
Yeah.
office underneath the, property maintenance code,
Yes.
and underneath whatever regulations are
Yes.
available in the city feels that there's an immediate detriment, I think they have the authority to
Reach
Well,
out,
work
reach
with the
out,
applicant on
reach
that.
out and touch
Yeah,
someone.
because
Correct.
Yeah, but you are right. We don't know. We don't
There could
know.
be stuff that's
Yeah.
getting,
Well, once again, that was one of the reasons we asked our final point, provide a letter in writing from the building inspector of their
I've seen it
support
right
of the
shit like
project
this
as
before.
commented by the applicant.
I know, but,
You know.
if they don't wanna do anything, or if
You know
they're
the way you are
in
normally with
appeals,
some of the
that's all fine
clients,
and
you know,
well,
hard
but in the
ass you
meantime,
are, right?
is
I'm
there a
that way
risk
with
that's
this guy.
being
I got
created?
no use for this
I
guy.
know.
I got
in
no
the area
use.
environmentally, and, is there anything that's gonna fall, that could be a danger to people going by, I mean,
Yep. And I think that's something for the building inspector
yeah,
to
no,
address,
that would be the solution.
definitely.
Right.
Once again, if they-
Shalice will tell him, right? Go tell Joe, right?
I'll
Yeah.
try.
One of those guys down there.
Do you
well,
want Joe's comments? for
if
this,
it's,
or no?
yeah, what's Joe's comments?
Right at these today. We do feel that this matter is we do feel that this is a matter of public safety. We have been working with the owner or manager for some time now to address the issue of public safety with respect to the collapsed boiler room area and associated chimney. There are other property maintenance type issues we are pushing to have resolved as well, like painting, minor soffit fascia repair, etc. But the boiler room chimney situation is a high safety concern, especially with the increased traffic in this area due to maple fields and the
Yeah.
brewing company in close proximity. That said, we are not insisting or implying that the planning board should waiver from any or all of their review process.
Mighty nice of them.
Yeah.
Mighty nice of them. Well, they're just swell guys to say that. That's great. I wish he was here. Schmuck.
I think I go back,
Yeah,
that
I like
if,
it.
if we have an application to be presented and decided where a decision is made by the board, then I would like the applicant
To show up.
to be here,
Absolutely.
Yes.
present that.
Agree.
And that holds consistent with what we
And
have
the
other
application, as it was
applicants do.
originally presented in January of 2019, was not a complete application in any way, shape, or
No.
form, so we couldn't
No.
That
address
was
it.
the second time, right? We
Yeah.
were heard in 2014 or something as well for the same exact issue and were told to get an engineer's report back then.
I believe
Yeah.
so, yes. I believe so.
Yeah. Okay.
Just one quick question about this.
Quick, right?
Yeah, it depends how long it takes you to answer it.
Yeah, all right. I'm just
Yeah.
clarifying.
Yeah.
If Joe issued a violation, okay, which sounds like he's been involved through that issuance, and we don't make a decision, and this is the remedial agency that will deal with the issue, we've extended a stay of proceeding for what could be an environmental or structural problem.
Yeah, but
So
you,
you have a stay of proceeding that we're allowing to continue. That's the only point that
I understand that, but I've got A and I've got Z to finish it, to clean it up. There's nothing in the middle. There's something, we need to know what's in it, what is the issues, and what is the chronology
I think you're removing.
of demo for that thing, to make sure that there are no
You're
safety
not wrong.
impacts such that he doesn't create more of a problem, but which you can do with a demo.
I think
You know?
one of the things ultimately is, perhaps this should be referred back, along with Joe's opinion letter, should be referred back to city council. Confirm on what our process should be. I mean.
So that they know?
The code officer, although stating there's a maintenance concern,
Yeah.
does not go back and tell us to deviate from what our normal requirements would be, which would be have the applicant here,
Yeah.
which would be some general
Shippo.
response to these items, which.
Engineering
That's my-
opinion,
That's
Yeah.
my point.
engineering opinion,
You
yeah.
don't extend a stay of proceeding because you don't want to take enforcement action.
So.
We are not an enforcement body.
No.
When it
No.
comes to.
So maybe the appropriate thing is to have the once again, with this information, have the building inspector's letter, the application referred back to the city council.
Yes.
Yeah.
Determine
Makes
is,
sense.
Yes.
is there some other appropriate action to get this taken care of? Or
The
Yes.
attorney or the council?
Councilor.
The counselor.
Okay,
sorry, the attorney.
Dean.
City
Lawyer.
attorney.
Dean,
City
Dean,
attorney.
They
yeah.
don't like being called
Yep.
lawyers. Lawyer.
Rick,
Dean's,
you used to be
Dean's
the
good
building
on these
inspector,
things
right?
too.
Yeah.
Depends why you ask.
I mean, is there something that he can do to compel, like, an engineer's report and then assess it against the taxes? Is that, I've heard of other communities doing that in other regards.
The city has always had the ability to take properties that are not into compliance and seek remedial action, but they've never wanted to put the money forth into a project. Could be a burned out building, it could be a stack. They never wanted to spend the money to seek recuperation later on.
And they're certainly less likely to spend money now.
That's correct.
One would think you're correct, yeah.
Yeah. So there are ways that they can do that.
You just,
It's just whether or
If they
not
choose not to execute it, that was an issue we've dealt with for many, many years.
I don't have any money, so I'm just gonna start ripping and tearing. Just give me the approval to start ripping and tearing and demoing the whole joint. No, see, it doesn't work like that. You don't, not on something old like this. No, it's big, it's not a little thing, it's large too.
So, at this point, you guys want me to go back to the applicant and tell him he has to appear before you guys make a decision, correct?
That would be number one.
And the answers. The answers requested, but why don't we send it off to Dean? Let's get some kind of
Yeah.
opinion from Dean, so we have that.
Always get
wave
the
at him.
lawyer to beef up your defense.
I think
I agree.
truthfully,
That's good.
the information we have in front of us and the history of this project should go back to the building inspector and city attorney to make an determination on
Yeah.
what's the most appropriate route for handling all this.
Yeah.
If there's-
Is there a way that the city can ascertain whether or not it poses a risk, either structurally or environmentally?
That's for, once again, the building inspector and the city, and the
Right, so but
city,
the building inspector can do that.
and the city attorney to make that determination. I mean,
Well,
essentially,
they might say they want to, but who would actually do it? Can they,
I think
do
I-
they have the authority to do that?
I think ultimately the building inspector has the authority to
Yeah.
issue basically
The
a
building inspector in
violation.
this case
a
does.
ticket-
Yeah.
A
Right.
ticket of violation, you know.
And potential fines.
Until it's
too.
corrected.
Yeah. I don't think we'll ever do that, but.
But that is the scenario. I mean,
Yeah,
if there's a major violation that is a health and safety concern
Yeah.
and the applicant or the property owner is not willing to take care of it, then eventually that leads to actual
Now, would there be
violation
any-
notices.
And so is there any possibility that this board would be perceived as having been an obstacle to completing that?
I think ultimately this board has, once again, a consistent process that we're trying to follow with all applicants.
No,
Yeah.
I understand that.
In
but-
this case,
That
we've
letter-
asked for a number of things over.
That are not above and beyond.
Yeah,
That's standard protocol, what we asked for in there. That's a good letter, by the way.
My only question is, and this is just from coming from a family of lawyers, if someone got injured.
Yep.
And they wanted to sue the board.
They can sue the board if they want to, but they
Well,
can't,
if
they can't
someone got
win.
injured.
We're indemnified as a board. They can't sue us
And
individually.
on top of that,
No, I understand.
I could go
Yes.
one step further, that if demo starts, you could significantly add to the problem out there
Oh,
by spreading
absolutely,
contaminants, not to
absolutely.
mention to the general public in the vicinity,
Absolutely.
but also the contractor needs to be protected too. He needs a health and safety plan to know what he's getting his hands into. That would come from a design
Absolutely. I
professional.
just want to make sure that the
Yeah.
planning board is not put in a position
No.
where
Nah, we're not
we
getting
could be
sued.
seen as the reason why something bad happened.
Rick,
No,
I
Rick,
think-
has an asbestos
I would have
report
taken care
required
of
for
it,
demo
but the
permit?
planning board wouldn't let me.
Yeah.
So I think ultimately
For
that's why
something
it's
like that,
probably a good
yeah.
suggestion by Rick,
Yeah, to have the.
that
building
this,
inspector.
that the information in this application and the history goes back to the building inspector and to the city attorney for
And
the
actually,
most
if you think
appropriate
about it, I
action
think the
to.
city attorney hasn't been in place as long as that first request. I think
Really?
John, I think
It's
John
that
Clute.
old?
I think so. I think John Clute might
John
have been.
Clute.
But that at least we're, as a planning board, we're being proactive in going back
Yeah,
to
good, okay.
hopefully
Just
the
as long
most
as we're-
appropriate parties to bring this to a resolution.
To facilitate, yeah.
If they come
Being
back,
done
if they come back and they tell the planning board there's a process where we should deviate from our normal, what we try to keep as a consistent
Right, and that's
process,
on them.
then we'll receive that direction. If not, right now I have a letter from the building inspector saying
Oh, yeah.
not to.
And that, on top
Yeah.
of that letter right there, yeah,
Yep.
we did the right thing, it's good, we're good,
So,
okay?
so you're clear, and the board's clear, Shalice is gonna take this back to the building inspector and to the city attorney, present the information, and I guess at that point, the applicant could probably coordinate with them as well on what's the best way to approach this.
Okay, so, and to clarify with the applicant, I'm telling him, you guys are not yielding on these requests. He has to provide this information and or appear to request the waiver of this
I like
information.
At this point,
Good words,
staying-
non-yielding.
I was gonna say, staying consistent with what we have told other applicants within the
Cheap
last 6
bastard.
months. If they want a decision made on an application, then someone has to be present.
Okay.
Yes, that is very good.
Okay?
You might even want to put that on applications that
Yeah,
your
no
presence
action will
is
be taken.
required.
Yeah, no action will be taken.
I-
Didn't think you ever had to tell somebody that.
You can't imagine, right?
If I want my
Oh, you
project
can
passed, I'm
imagine.
showing up to talk.
We've had, once again, we've had at least 1 or 2 applicants within the last 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We tabled
Yeah,
because they weren't here.
They weren't here.
Yeah.
So,
Stick up for their own project.
okay,
Motion?
is there any other comments? If not, a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
What time is it? Lunch?
Thank you.
9:30.
Oh,
9:30.
This is one of the most haphazard
dinner tonight.
packets I've ever done.
Oh, hey.
Coming in.
Yep, trying to.